We could not have a better day to go motor racing as we bring sound and vision together on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindhoff, and Laguna Seca, well named. It's looking pretty dry around the Monterey Peninsula. Fabulous weather this last week. The left-hand coast of America, the left coast is the best coast, is what the natives tell us down here. 2.23 miles, Andretti hairpin, Rahal Strait, two of the biggest names in American motorsport and one of the biggest challenges in American motorsport. Turn 8 and 8A. That's what it says on the track map. The drivers know it as the corkscrew. Dropping down the hill from there to turn 11, a good overtaking point, getting up the inside on the brakes. Rinse and repeat for 2 hours, and that's the 9th of 10 races in the Michelin Pilot Challenge for 2019. Shea Adam is down in the pits. First of all, Shea, TCR, the two Hyundais at the front of the field, locking out the front row. It's been a good season for that Veloster in its first year of competition.
Really has been, and the story that they've been preaching to us all week long is 4 drivers. 2 cars, but 4 drivers. They are one team. They aren't paying attention to the fact that the 98 drivers are just ahead of the 21 drivers in terms of the Drivers' Championship. No, that never crossed their mind. Well, we're going to see just how much it crosses their mind if they're running 1-2, and both of them have a legitimate chance for the race win in about 2 hours' time.
And as far as the GS is concerned, the front of the field is the front of the championship with our championship leaders, the 39 car-borne Audi on pole position. Tyler McQuarrie breathing a sigh of relief after that car was damaged early on in the week. Yes,
when Jeff Westphal was driving and there was an incident between himself and the Hart number 89 Honda that went off, well off, out of control. The collision between the 2 cars resulted in massive damage for both cars that was repaired overnight. Both cars are getting ready to take the start of this race, and most importantly, that 39, the championship leader, saying catch me if you can in points and in qualifying. There is a 1-car buffer back to the drivers who are then second in the championship. They're 24 points back, though, so it is a big gap. Jesse Lazar and Corey Fergus really need to win this race and hope that some misfortune falls for that 39 car for them to have a chance at the championship going into the final round at Road Atlanta. But all they are thinking about for the Mia McLaren is redemption. 1 year ago, Jesse Lazar put the car on pole position, leading the race, and a wheel fell off the car. That resulted in a DNF. They know they have a strong car here today. They're looking to prove that they could win a year ago.
Shea will be our eyes and ears in the pits. Jeremy Shaw alongside me. We're on the start-finish line looking at the back of the pits and a little bit of the track. This is 2 hours. This is going to be a tough 2 hours out there.
Yeah, it's going to be hard work for these drivers, no question about it. But it's certainly going to be an exciting race. And for that Mia McLaren team, car number 69, I mean, nothing seems to have gone right for them for what seems like an age. I mean, they should have won the race a couple of weeks ago at VIR, leading on the final lap, and a bad mistake admitted to by Trent Hinman took him out of the race lead on the final lap. Just an absolute heartbreaker there, but there's been a string of those, it seems, this season. Will today be the day that it all comes right for the Motorsport in Action McLaren team?
Should say an uncharacteristic mistake by Trent Hinman, and certainly not deliberate in that, but he was penalised for it, put his hands up to it straight away.
And the first thing he did, actually get out of the car and go over to the team, even though he knew they weren't going to be best pleased, but and just pray for their apology, basically. And it was well taken by the Mia team. As you say, it was not done deliberately. It was just a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. We all know that.
We've already had a Lamborghini race this morning. We've got one more this afternoon, and that gives me the opportunity to wish Brian Till all the best, our broadcast colleague who would normally be calling the Lamborghini Super Trofeo races with us here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Brian, we know how hard you're fighting. We wish you all the best. We're keeping your place warm for you. There is no substitute. Come back whenever you want. We'll have the headset waiting for you. 2 hours on the clock. We're ready to go racing in Monterey, in California, at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and the front row absolutely together. Round the outside, Paul Halter in the McLaren, tries to do the big move down into turn number 2, gets a nice hook up around the outside, almost got the drive off the middle part of the corner, and sets off after the lead, which has been held by our pole sitter. Problem further back down the field for the number 13 McLaren.
Yeah, that's and also one of the that's Jeff Mosing as well has gone off the road there at the exit of turn 2. So 2 cars going to be dropping well down. Actually, wasn't it 65 car? I beg your pardon. Of Tim Probert there, who dropped way back down the back as well. But it was an excellent start there by Tyler McQuarrie. Did what he had to do on the inside line and maintains that pole position and leads on the opening lap.
Well, remember, that is the championship leader through turn 6, heading up towards the corkscrew for the first time of asking to Velocitas, holding things down in the TCR field. They're now right in behind cars that they are quicker than in GS. Manoeuvre being made there by Owen Trinkler, who got ahead of Jesse Lazar at the start, so started 4th, is now in 3rd position. TCR cars will be trying to pick their way through the back of the GS field as the leader, Tyler McQuarrie, with a handy lead, maybe 4 car lengths, maybe a little more, going into the final corner, the left-hander at the end of the lap. That is a really good start by the pole sitter. And Owen Trinkler is absolutely flying as well. 3rd position and has pulled away from Jesse Lazar with Russell Ward in the Winward AMG. Now, we often see the AMGs struggle to get heat into their tyres early on, so this hot weather might be absolutely perfect for them. They like the long runs as well. The 33 sitting in 5th position, wearing the colours of Mobil 1, and here's the 65 car in the pit lane. There's been contact for the Murillo Racing machine.
Yeah, picked up some, I think, some signage actually on the exit of turn 2.
Now, did he jump or was he pushed? There was a little bit of a coming together ahead of him that included Alan Brynjolfsson's car, and then side-by-side contact that has pushed that car way down. Shea Adam is looking at an unscheduled pit stop for the 65 Mercedes AMG.
They're pulling some bits of that signage out of the right front of this Mercedes, and there's damage to the bumper, but they should be able to put a new Michelin tire on and send it back out, and now they have a little bit of tape as well. And ironically, their jack stand is down on the sign that they drag back into the pit lane, but it looks like they're going to be able to fix it up and send them back out for at least a little bit more fun.
And it was the 13 McLaren Oren Ferrari who was involved in that as well. But they were shunted across, I think, by a car on the extreme right of the circuit as they came out of the Andretti hairpins. None of this has bothered the front of the field, where Tyler McQuarrie has opened up a 1.5 second lead to the McLaren of Paul Halter. Owen Trinkler, last year's champion driver with his teammate, of course, Hugh Plum. And that car looking ever so good in the second half of the season, but they've not been able to turn that into the results they would have wanted at Ted Giovannis Motorsport, TGM. Then a bit of a gap back to the 69 white, blue and black McLaren. That's Jesse Lazar. It was cars number 7, 13 and 65. Well, so it was Brynjolfsson, I thought it was, in the number 7 Porsche to add to the 13 McLaren and the 65 AMG GT4.
Yeah, the 13 car was kind of in the middle there, and Tim Probert was on the inside, and as you say, he just got kind of, as the number 13 car kind of veered across the track, number 65 car just had nowhere to go. He was right there already alongside and had to drive through the dust and gravel, and also through one of those signs.
And another one of those 3 cars involved in that first lap incident into the pit lane.
That number 13 AWA McLaren comes into the pit lane with left front damage, so there you go, the 2 sides of the cars adding up well. And this is a Michelin that is just knocked off of its rim. As a matter of fact, it's still holding a good amount of air. They're changing the left side tires. Both of those are now stickers, so they're brand new, lowering Ori down, and they're going to let him go back out.
That's too early for a pit stop in race conditions, of course. There is a mandatory drive time that you have to have for each of the drivers, and that's well inside that. So they left those starting drivers in. They're off strategy now. We'll let you know. In fact, just heard now from race control, no further action for that 3-car incident on the first lap. Don't forget, as you're watching or listening, think about your nominations for our Spirit of the Race Award Forgeline wheels supporting that for us here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Hashtag Forgeline SOTR for the individual, team or entity you feel best in this next 2 hours or thereabouts displays the spirit of endurance racing. Hashtag Forgeline SOTR for the Forgeline Wheels Spirit of the Race Award, as nominated and voted by your good selves, the fans here at the track and further afield. Could not be a better day weather-wise here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We're 6 minutes into the 2 hours and Audi leads by still just on a second, 1.2 if you're counting exactly, from Paul Halter in second place in that beautiful McLaren GT4, the 75 car. He's got about a second on Owen Trinkler in the 46 McLaren AMG GT4. Excuse me, Mercedes AMG GT4. Then the McLaren of Jesse Lazar, about a second and a half or so further back, leading a little train of cars that has Mercedes number 33 of Russell Ward, Jeff Mosey in the other tangerine and black Mercedes. And then Bryce Ward's had a cracking start, up to 7th position. That's Russell's dad in the 57 Mercedes, the old silver car, whereas the 33 has the Mobile One signage on the side. Live from trackside, IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Meantime, in TCR, Michael Lewis leads for the Hyundai number 98, but no longer his teammate. Sitting in behind, what a great start for the 23 of Nick Gallant, the Fast MD car, sitting in second position. That's the first of the Audis. Then the black Hyundai Veloster. That is the number 21 car, Mason Filippi behind the wheel. Good start from Shelby Blackstock in the 37 Honda Civic. That's the mostly white with a little bit of blue and black on it. That's in 4th position. Then Michael Johnson in the dark red 54 Audi. That's your top 5. And they are in a train together. And the 98, the pole sitting car, still leads. Being very sensible. Can't really afford to make mistakes here. You get onto the gravel, you get onto the sand. Very difficult indeed to get back onto the racing surface. 8.5 or 8 minutes gone, just about. Battle for the lead in TCR. Going up to the corkscrew now. And good news for Michael Lewis is he's put Frank Depew in between himself and the rest of the TCR field. Now Frank's in a GS car. His job is to get that car to its first pit stop without losing the lead lap in GS and give it to Robin Liddell to take it to the end. They've had success this year, the Rebel Rock Racing Camaro, but at the moment he's allowing the TCR leader to get away. Very nimble cars, these TCR cars, and very much downforce cars. That wide bodywork and the rear wing pushes the car onto the ground. They're fast through medium and quick corners. The Camaro, of course, Jeremy, will be very quick indeed down the straight and will be frustrating that line of TCRs behind, where the battle for second is hotting up between Nick Galante and Mason Filippi, with Shelby Blackstock sitting right in there as well. Second, third and fourth. In fact, Michael Johnson's right there, and behind Michael Johnson is the number 17 as well. And that's a great run for Julian van der Veld in the number 17 Audi.
It really is. That's a super battle there that's going on, and Michael Lewis will be kind of thanking his lucky stars. He's got the Chevy Camaro in between that little group at the moment, but again, he's not going to want to push too far. He doesn't need to extend his lead too much at this stage. He's going to try and look after his Michelin tyres and maintain that gap, and as long as there's another car in between them, he's looking okay. Meanwhile, out front, Tyler McQuarrie is well, he's just edging away little by little, a couple or 3/10 of a second per lap over number 75 McLaren. Number 46 are hanging right with him, but then there's an increasing gap back to number 69 Mia McLaren.
Great battle in TCR. Oh, and a mistake at the top of the hill by Ted Giovannis, and that's let the Alpha and that little gaggle of TCRs go through. It's the 19th position GS car right in the midfield of the TCR battle, and through has gone the Robbie Nash and Alpha, the number 3 car. In there as well was Mike Lamara. Roy Block was in there as well, and the other Alpha, I think, And still the battle for second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, unable to get past the Camaro, but going back into second. Hyundai from the front row of the grid to start, pushed down to third, now back to second, and the 21 car makes that position back. Mason Filippi then gets back into the position that he started, but he's had to work really hard for that. Shelby Blackstock sitting in a couple of cars further back, and this is great news for Michael Lewis, who has pulled the pin and disappeared up the road, and I think he may shortly have 2 cars between himself and the rest of the field, because he's coming up on Matt Ramsey in the Mercedes number 92, the dark red AMG GT4 that he shares with Alex Prema. As, into the pit lane, the 75. This is the McLaren from Compass Racing. This is not a standard stop. They go straight to work with fuel, and at the moment that's all. No, left rear tyre, I think. They're looking at all the tyres. They're shaking all the tyres. Vibration being reported, I would think, from the driver there. And Paul Halter is a very experienced driver, so he wasn't happy about something. Maybe he's got a bit of pickup on there, but whilst they checked that, and I understand why they did it, they did put some more racing fuel in there, and that will extend his pit window and therefore give them a little more strategy. They've lost some real estate there, Jeremy, but I didn't see any wheels change, just a bit of wobbling while the car was up on its jacks.
Yeah, that's frustrating though for that team, because you certainly don't want to be making a pit stop this early in the race with just 12 minutes down. So that's not what that team wanted, but they're going to do the best they can to soldier back from there and see what they can do in terms of strategy. But Tyler McCrory now, all of a sudden, that lead is now over 3 seconds over Owen Trinkler, who's moved up into second place for Team TGM, and then again moves Jesse Lazar back up to the third place in the Mia McLaren, but he's already more than 6 seconds behind our overall leader.
Leader will be delighted when he sees his pit board, or they get on the radio to him. Oh, there's a pass for position at the final corner. The Mobile 1 AMG GT4 getting up the inside. That's the 33 car of Russell Ward going up the inside of Jesse Lazar, but Jesse Lazar in the cutback gets to the left-hand side of the track, uses the little kick at turn 1. They both go very deep into turn 2. Ward tries to cut back, but Lazar covers him. And sitting in behind them is Jeff Mosing watching that battle. I think Jesse was still scored ahead of the line. Yes, he was. Must have been pretty close.
Yeah.
Because that was a definite move and a proper pass at turn number 11 by Russell Ward. Big flash of the lights as he looks down the inside of 5. Won't get through there. Great battle. Great battle on the track. So Tyler McCrory leading by 4.5 seconds from Owen Trinkler, settling into second place there. He's got 3.2 seconds all of a sudden on this battle for third between Lazar and Russell Ward in the white McLaren and the silver, black and red Mobile 1 sponsored AMG GT4. Hour and 3/4 still to go in the sunshine here at Monterey. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Big couple of weeks for this racing circuit, with the NTT IndyCar Series coming back to the venue next weekend. But WeatherTech Sports Car Championship tomorrow, live on NBC Network for those of you here in the States. And that will be the last race of the Sprint Cup Series as well within that championship. And then we'll head off to Motul Lemon, of course, in early October to finish off all of the rest of the championships. Jeremy Shaw alongside me, John Hindhaugh, in the IMSA Broadcast Centre with Shea Adam down in the pit lane at IMSA Radio if you want to get in touch with us. And thank you for joining us wherever you are around the world. Great to have your company.
I think it's Frank Depew off track there in the number 71 Camaro. That's going to allow the second of the Hyundais to move through into, he remains in second place in TCR. That's going to give him a bit of a buffer now back to Nick Galante, who's continuing to hold off Shelby Blackstock as they head into the Mario Andretti hairpin for the 10th lap out of this 2-hour race. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 car battle there. Behind Shelby Blackstock is Michael Johnson, who's moved back ahead. I think of Julian van der Waal. No, he's right behind Julian van der Waal as well. Okay, fine. So that's a good 4-car battle there for 3rd place now in TCR.
23 car, 2nd position in TCR at the head of that field, and still with Frank Depew in the Camaro ahead of him. Frank's actually picked his pace up quite nicely now. He's managing to keep a decent gap back to those TCR cars. They're squabbling amongst themselves, but he has let both of the Hyundais are now through.
Yeah, because he ran wide.
Gone through.
He ran wide. The exit of that turn, final corner, was off on the gravel, trying to fight his way back on the racetrack.
Now side-by-side action for 3rd position. Shelby Blackstock tries to go the long way around at the top of the corkscrew. That's put himself in a little bit of trouble. And the 17 Audi behind him. And a problem for the 23. Is that a puncture? Is that a right front puncture for what was the 3rd place Nick Gallant Fast MD Audi? He's cruising down the hill towards turn 10. That's cruel luck, with faster cars going through the TCR battle, including the McLaren. Yeah, that looks like a problem for Nick Gallant. It happened as he was coming out of the corkscrew. He just understeered on, and it is indeed a left front puncture. Shea Adam.
Good thing he was all downhill from there to come into the pit lane, as the tire's actually done a very good job of staying intact. It hasn't flailed about and ruined any of that aerodynamic bodywork on the right front of the left front of the car. They are doing 1 tire. They just had another mechanic jump over the wall with a right rear to try and take advantage of the opportunity to change all 4, and they waved him off, saying, no, we're only going to change the 1 now. We want to lose as little time as we can. And they actually had time to change 2 of them. But now he's lost one of the nuts that's come off of the wheel, and he can't find it. So this is disaster for the car that won the race last time out at VIR. Their only other podium of the year came at Daytona. They managed to find an extra one, get the car all settled, drop him down. So Nick Galante's got a really good grip from the left front and really okay grip from the other tires now.
They affect the balance of the car, and he's about to lose the lead lap with TCR, I think. As he comes out the pit lane, it's going to be touch and go, maybe, but he's got a long way home from there. Now, he was defending at the top of the corkscrew just before he went off the circuit. Did he clip the inside to cause that puncture? Yes, he did. Great work in tape on our replay from our colleagues at TV. Dropped the left front Michelin over the inside curb, and it's immediately cut the tyre down, led to an understeering on the right-hand portion coming down through the corkscrew. Fabulous work from the replay team, bringing us that look at the top of the corkscrew, and that has cost Nick Gallant massively. He was right in the fight there, and now they're going to have to be strategic and fast, and probably a bit lucky as well to get back to the sharp end of TCR.
True. Meanwhile, Tyler McCoy, he's sort of stranglehold in this race. 4.5 seconds his lead. He's just maintaining that gap now. He's dropped his pace from 33.3 or thereabouts, low 1 minute 33s by about a second. Whether that's tyre wear or whether that's management, we will see. He's maintaining that gap. But the guy who's done a fabulous job in the opening stint of this race is Nate Stacey in car number 60. Started in 22nd position, dead last in GS after his time after qualifying was annulled because the wheels had too much camber in them. That's a no according to the regulations. Started 22nd, now up into 7th place, and next on his target will be Rob Eklund Jr. in the Aston Martin car number 09.
It's Jeremy Shaw, I'm John Hindorf, and I think I can just about take a proper breath now. Not sure that Tyler McQuarrie can. Well, he's nearly 5 seconds in the head of the field now, leading this race at the moment comfortably in the always immaculately turned out carbon Audi number 39, this R8 in grey, black and lime green, stunning looking car. And at the moment he's setting sail into the distance down through the corkscrew again for the 13th time for Tyler. Owen Trinkner having settled into his work. leaders, both lapping last time around, 34.1, 1 minute 34.146, 134.166. Everybody else at least half a second slower, other than Russell Ward with a 34.4. He's the next quickest guy at the moment, as he is right on the tail again of Jesse Lazar. Those two having a cracking scrap. That's been turned back up to 11 again for third place, the 69 blue, white and black McLaren from Motorsport in Action, and the number 1 Winwood Racing Mercedes AMG. The two Hyundai Velocitas, Michael Lewis and Mason Filippi, 98 the blue car, 21 the black car. They're ahead of the TCR field, but then the battle for third now has Shelby Blackstock, and that's Van der Watt's gone through actually into third place. So the number 17 Audi RS3 TCR is now in third position. Blackstock had held it at the start of the last lap, so that's changed. Michael Lewis in the mostly red car is next up, and that is the battle for position. So the battle pack here is Honda number 37. Check that, Audi number 17, Honda number 37, Audi number 54, and then Brian Henderson in the 84, the blue and yellow Atlanta Speedworks. Honda sitting next in line.
Interesting battle here, kind of the low reaches of the top 10, and just a bit below that actually, but number 82, number 97, a couple of lap cars in there as well. The other Aston Martin running in the 6th position, 09 of Rob Ecklin, qualified superbly, his best ever qualifying effort for Rob Ecklin Jr., and he's now really putting the pressure on Jeff Mosey in the battle for 5th and 6th places. Actually, and right with them now also is Nate Stacey, having started right at the back of the pack, so that's a really, really good battle for now for 5th, 6th and 7th.
Down into the
both first jump past Jeff Mosey actually on that,
yes,
on that lap.
Correct, absolutely right. Big moment for Bryce Ward in the white and blue Iberia Bank sponsored Winwood Racing Cars. New sponsorship, I think, this weekend for Bryce. That's Russell's dad, just outbraked himself at the top of the corkscrew, but he didn't panic. Didn't try to get the car round, just opened his hands, used the runoff, took a deep breath. Might have just lost a position there. I think Ari Baylock went through in the 59 Ford Mustang, but Bryce lives to fight another day. Meantime, his son Russell battling for third position, same part of the track, through the corkscrew, falling down towards the end of the lap, has the McLaren ahead of him with Jesse Lazar. Target is acquired, but can he close up to it? Turn 11, all the way down to second gear. Tyler McQuarrie setting a great pace at the front of the field. Only really him and Owen Trinkler, who had a bit of traffic that time around. Trinkler down into the 35, so is everybody behind him, but McQuarrie still in the 34.5, 1 minute 34.5 second pace. That's pretty good stuff. Now what we're waiting for now, and Shea Adam will be looking very carefully at this, is what the body language is from the teams in the pit, and because that will be all about the feedback they're getting from their drivers, Shea, about what the tyres are doing out there on what is still a very warm afternoon here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
It's kind of funny because you see most of the crew chiefs communicating directly with their drivers sort of with this exacerbated look on their face, and it's pretty universal up and down because all the drivers are reporting, oh, I need new tires, I need to pit for new tires, and the crew chiefs are going, yes, yes, just keep your head down, keep going, it'll get better, it's okay. So there's a lot of nervous laughter on a lot of the pit boxes, and the second drivers, I'm not seeing anyone even close to putting their helmet on. Of course, we haven't reached the minimum 40-minute window yet, so people with new tires up on the wall, but no new drivers, and everybody, John, everybody on the pit lane has new Michelin tires ready for, should a caution come out, they're ready to go.
Yeah, good point, Shea. Very good point indeed. Hello to Jason Owens, loving the Michelin Pilot Challenge broadcast. He said, I thought I'd celebrate with a nice glass of something as you're all working over there in wine country. Nice to know that you're with us, Jason. And a change for third position as Russell Ward has got through and pulled out a bit of a gap now on the McLaren of Jesse Lazar.
Pretty much side by side they went through turn 11 there, but the McLaren had to run a bit wide onto the exit, and that enabled the Mercedes to get a better run off that corner. So Russell Ward then up into third position. Really good run for Russell in the early stages of this race. Bit of a gap behind us to about 5 seconds back to Rob Ecklin Jr., who's continuing to run really well in the Aston Martin, kind of a 0-9 with Nate Stacey all over the back of him in the Mustang that's come all the way from the back of the field.
Just a quick mention as well for Paul Halter, because he's carving his way back as well after coming in early on with a car that didn't just feel right to him. They wiggled all the wheels, gave him some more fuel and then sent him. Well, he's back up to 19th position overall. That's 17th in class, and he's chasing down the TCR leaders. He's about a minute now behind the overall leader. Just hear the Mercedes grounding out as it comes out of the corkscrew, as Russell Ward now has 5 seconds to make up to Owen Trinkler, who has 6 to make up on the leader, Tyler McCrory. Audi number 39 leads Mercedes AMG GT 446, and then the car on the move at the moment, Russell Ward. Really got his head down at the moment. The 33 car is the man on the move, and he's dropped Jesse Lazar for the time being. Aston Martin, Ecklin Jr., the 09 automatic car. Overheating problems for that car earlier in the weekend. Doesn't seem to have slowed it down. Up into 5th position behind Lazar, but 4 seconds to make up. TCR, still the 2 Hyundai Velocitas out front, 98 from in 2nd place. The 21, that's the 98, is the blue, sky blue car, with about 2.5, 3 seconds on his teammate Mason Felipe. Mike Lewis there leading. Then it's the number 17 sitting in behind in 3rd position. The South African driving that car at the moment, and he's fought his way past Shelby Blackstop and into 3rd position. Shelby sitting in there in the best of the Hondas in 4th position.
Yeah, and Junior van der Waal, he's sharing that car this weekend again, as he did at VIR with Gabby Chavez, former Indy Lights champion and IndyCar driver as well up until last year, the end of last year. Delighted to be back in the field. He was super fast at VIR. Unfortunately, neither of those two, Gabby Chavez nor Julian van der Waal, were able to really show that in the race because they had a problem on the pace lap, believe it or not. But they're certainly making good and running very well in the early stages here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. But meanwhile, that pace at the front of the field, Tyler McCrory, just a really nice, consistent pace, mid 1 minute 34s, and he's stretching his lead lap on lap over number 46 car, Owen Trinkler.
Onto the front straight, battle for position between the number 60 Ford Mustang of Nate Stacey and ahead the light-coloured Aston Martin 09 car going into the Andretti hairpin at turn 2. Call that Old English white, I think, on that 09 car for the British mark.
Yeah, and this little battle here, they're certainly closing up now on the car ahead of it, which is number 69, the MIA McLaren.
That car's pace has dropped off a bit,
Yes, it has, very much so. Talking to those guys just before the start of the race, the longest stint they've done this weekend was about 25 laps. They've now only done 18 laps, and they were telling me the tyres would drop off maybe 2.5, 3 seconds a lap, because that's an awful lot, and that's what appears to be the case right now. Corey Fergus, Jesse Lazar's last lap, 1 minute 36, so losing out a whole second a lap to Tyler McCrory.
Slower, it's just they're going more slow.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're still running. Yeah, they're still running in the top 5, which is good. But Tyler McCrory, he's a lot more consistent, pulling away several tenths of a second over Owen Trinkler, and pretty much every lap time record is the fastest car on track.
And he's the only driver and car combination who has been consistently inside 35s, even in traffic. That was a 34.9 last time around for the leader. That's his slowest lap by a couple of 3/10s for a while, and he's still at least 2 or 3/10s quicker than everyone else. Second quickest driver at the moment, still Russell Ward. He's in the very low 35s and the high 34s, and he's closing in just ever so slightly on Owen Trinkler. Now the gap between second and third down to 3.5 seconds. Gap between first and second up to 8.5 in TCR. Michael Lewis, 17th position overall. Now got the McLaren of Paul Halter behind him as he fights his way back in the number 75 car, 17th in GS. So get down to the pit lane. Shea Adam has Kyle Marcelli.
Kyle, normally when your car starts from the back of the grid, it's a worst-case scenario, but it seems to have lit a fire under Nate Stacey. What's it been like to watch your number 60 Mustang pass all these cars?
Yeah, I mean, he's really been on it these last couple of races. I've been really impressed with the starting stints. It certainly puts a lot of pressure on me to make sure we get the result. But I love that. The team's been on it the last couple of races. I love seeing the fire under Nate's butt. I saw him on the pre-grid and I said, "Are we doing a cool suit?" And he said, "No." He said, I'm mad at myself and I'm not allowed to use a cool suit. So, he's doing a great job.
You're going to make him stay out there until the 40-minute window and then give you new tires?
Yeah, we'll see. It's kind of a moving strategy at the moment. Obviously, the tire is a big part of the whole scenario, and we'll have to play it by ear.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Leader already into the TCR battles, and in fact, lapping the number 52 Honda Civic in 11th place in TCR. Hour and a half still to go, Jeremy, so we're still 10 minutes away from the drive time. Oh, and a bit of a mistake, wasn't there, by the automatic Aston as they come up behind the second of the Carbon cars. Here's an opportunity for the number 60 Core Motorsports Ford Performance Mustang. Big wiggle in the middle of turn 3 for the Aston in 5th position. Ron Eckler Jr. is going to have to give best here surely to Nate Stacey. No, he gets round the outside at turn 4. That was very brave indeed by the Aston driver. It looked like he lost grip in the middle of turn 3, but hung in with it and trusted the car in turn 4, and the car repaid that trust. Holds on to 5th position.
Yeah, and hats off there to Nate Stacey for not being over-aggressive there and making contact with the Aston Martin. He just he's biding his time. He knows there's a long way to go in this race. He's got a lot of experience now, has Nate. He's still a youngster, of course, driving that number 60 car. He's still only 19 years of age, which is fairly remarkable because he started out racing Mazda Miatas at age 12, if you can believe it. Seems like a long time ago, and indeed it was 7 years ago, but he's picked up experience, and as Kyle Marcelli was just telling us, our pit reporter Shea Adam just a few moments ago, he's really upped his game, as Nathan, taking it super seriously. He's got a great attitude all the way around, and that was a heads-up drive at the moment.
And Shea Adam making a point about that battle.
It could get to be a lot of fun later on in the race. If coming down for the win, it's in the 33 Dominic Baumann and in the 60 Kyle Marcelli, teammates at Lexus last year.
Yeah, good point. Nice point. At IMSA Radio, if you'd like to get in touch with us. Anybody caught your eye yet for the Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race Award? Person, team, entity, individual, driver, could be any of the above. Whoever it is that you think has most displayed the spirit of endurance racing. Well, only half an hour or so into a 2-hour race. You may be keeping the powder dry for a moment, keep a few notes if you're watching or listening at home or here on the track.
A super little battle going just past start-finish line now for 13th position. Number 82, 35, 97, 92. They're really hanging out amongst themselves. And then next up on the road, but quite a long way back, is that 75 car. The McLaren making its way back after that early pit stop. And then the 2 TCR leaders. Yes, 2 TCR leaders, because the youngster Mason Filippi, local driver, of course, has caught up with Michael Lewis, and those two are about 5 seconds, a little bit over 5 seconds ahead of the third place car in the class, which is number 17, Julian van der Watt. He's still stuck behind Frank Depew in the Chevrolet Camaro, which is going to be a little bit frustrating, but I don't think he's holding them up too much.
Battle for fifth comes to the final corner. Oh, that's very fair indeed from Ron Eckler Jr., who saw Nate Stacey starting to come down the inside at turn 11. He wasn't really there, but he gave him room on the inside. It might well cost him fifth position, but that is excellent and respectful racing from the Aston driver. Now they'll go side by side into turn 2. Let's see if the cutback works for the Aston driver. I don't think it's going to. They've got a bit of traffic there, and that was all down to the lunge from Stacey going into the final corner. He couldn't really make it, but he did make the car ahead go offline. So new fifth position, and it is Nate Stacey for Core Motorsport. Nice move.
From 22nd on the grid, what a drive.
Yeah, who said you can't pass around WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? Let's keep an eye on the 17th position GS as well. Paul Halter is only 8 seconds now away from another position is on that comeback drive for the 75 McLaren. Meantime, across the start-finish line, Hyundai Velocitas 1 and 2 in TCR. 98 is the sky blue car, and I'm starting to hear, Shea Adam, in front of us, a few teams just firing up their air guns.
Like that?
Just like that, yes, very good timing.
That was perfect timing. That's the Automatic Racing crew who are starting to think about getting ready for a pit stop. And just now coming up onto the wall, the crew for the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes. Are we nearing that 40-minute window, John?
Yeah, we're still about 5 or 6, 7 minutes away. So
these guys are looking like they're coming in now.
Well, if they do, that means they'll have to stick Bryce back in at the end, or unless they're going to put him in for a double. He's been doing good times, Bryce. Got up to 7th position, dropped back to 10th now. Had a little mistake earlier on at the corkscrew. What a drive this has been by Tyler McQuarrie, championship leading team, of course, the 39 Audi R8. Now the better part of 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Meantime, Paul Halter has got past both of the Hyundais.
Yeah, but he hasn't pulled away. He got past them. How many laps ago he got past them? 4 or 5 laps ago, and he hasn't pulled away from those two.
He's slowing.
And, yeah, I think he is, as the tyres are wearing probably. He's certainly slow coming through that corner, the turn 10, but not too far. There's only about 5 seconds back to the third position class, and we've got number 17, 37, 54 and 89, but they're being closed upon now by the 2 Alfa Romeos, number 3 and number 5. So very shortly, if not, yeah, we're pretty much now as they come past the pits to complete this lap. We've got a big train of cars there battling over third position in TCR.
And all of a sudden, the McLaren's gone off again. He looks like he's severely rear grip limited at the moment, and by that's a long-winded McLaren way. Ron Dennis would love that of me seeing he's worn his rear tyres out. Coming together, and it's Michael Simpson who has been in a bit of an argy-bargy in a fighting match with the number 3 Alfa. Now, they were battling for position, and it's a 54 car that looks to have come off worse with front left suspension damage, right rear issues for the Alfa number 3, Robbie Nash, as they were coming in. Now, question was there a touch on the left rear from the Alfa first, or did the Audi just get sideways and then get picked up? And I really can't answer that question. Lots of damage to the left front and damage to the right front of the Alfa. So there was, I mean, was that a secondary coming together? I'm just looking at the left rear of the Audi, and I'm not sure there was a touch on the left-hand side. So maybe the back end just got away.
It did. It's just as he's getting on the power at that point.
It's very odd, wasn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, so
the pits are closed. We are going full course caution. We're 9 minutes away from drive time. And the 54 Audi has brought out the full course yellow for Michael Johnson. I said Michael Simpson earlier on, didn't I? My apologies for that. Putting the 2 drivers' names together. And entering a closed pit, the Alfa.
Yeah, it doesn't really have any choice.
front damage to the right front. That car's been in the wars this year, but I'm pleased to see the enamel badges back on the front.
That's a great shame there, Andy. But just mentioning the fact that both of the Alphas had caught right up to that whole train of cars that were battling over third, fourth and fifth, and they were about 5 seconds behind the two leaders as well. So all of those cars in TCR were running competitively. That was a good little battle that was developing there. So 35 laps down, 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes
40
down.
minutes is up, yes, I just miscounted there.
Yeah.
40 minutes is up right now. This is what's called emergency service for the Alpha. You're allowed to fix what ails the car, but nothing else. It's been noted that the Alpha number 3, the red Alpha, entered a closed pit. Right front tyre is being changed on the Alpha. Brand new tyre on the right front. Damage around the front. There was some bodywork pulled off from that area of the car, and it's rolling again. Shea Adam was watching that.
The tire doesn't look damaged though, John, from my eyes directly across the pit lane, watching them do that work on the car. There was a little bit of splitter damage that they sort of ripped off, and maybe a faint line around the inside of that right front tire, but it didn't look too severe at all.
Just another replay that I'd say there's definitely contact there from the right front of the Alpha onto the left rear of the number 54 car. Just as it is about to transition back onto the power, that car stepped out sideways. I don't think there's any other reason for the car to step out sideways at that point in that corner. It's double apex corner there effectively, and yeah, I think number 3 car might be in a little bit of trouble there.
Incidents under review. They were passing slower traffic, all got a bit unnecessary at that point. Keys to the race, patience in traffic was one of those.
Yeah, and he'd done the hard work. He closed up onto the tail of those cars, and he just didn't need to do that.
Well, tyres, pit stops, execution, all part of our keys to the race and the countdown to green. Shea Adam, this will set the cat among the pigeons, because we are now inside.
Right, it's going to get busy.
40 minutes, or we have done more than 40 minutes, so I presume everybody's sitting back with an ice cream. Of course they aren't.
Yeah, I don't think there's actually any space on the pit wall at all to stand if anybody wanted to. So it's very, very busy, and the pit close lights are still on, but they should be opening. Pit should be opening next time by.
Yeah, it won't be this time by. They've already gone through.
What we're having now,
we're having a wave by.
Yeah, there's a wave by. What that means for those of you who are not regulars of IMSA racing, any of the TCR cars that are in between the safety car at the front of the field and the TCR class leader, i.e. has not yet been lapped by the TCR class leader, is able to go around the GS cars, past the safety car and run around to the back of the field. So they are not inconvenienced by this yet. They're still on the lead lap, no reason for them to be unfairly penalised. So that's what's happening right now. And then probably next time around, number 54 car's been towed in with that broken tie rod on the left front suspension.
I think it's the drive shaft as well, Jeremy, because he wasn't getting any drive there, but he is towing.
It's certainly in trouble.
Yeah,
that car's being towed in. So the pits will probably be open next time around, and then we'll see wholesale pit stops for the GS cars. The following lap, we'll see pit stops for TCR.
Sorry about that, Jeremy. The pit close light is still on, which is sort of curious, though. How far around are they at this point?
They're still in the first part of the lap, so that's okay. This from Stephen Gardner has tweeted at IMSA Radio. He says, I really appreciate the fact that earlier on the number 60 Mustang could have just bashed the 09 Aston out of the way at turn 11 and didn't. Similarly, the 09 Aston could have slammed the door on the 60 Ford and didn't. Good, clean, hard, fair racing. That's what I tune in to see.
100% agree. Completely
agree, Stephen. Thanks for dropping us the line at IMSA Radio, and keep it in your heads, all of you, of our Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race for awards. It's one of the intervention vehicles just picking up some more body damage and debris at the 6th corner. Hashtag Forgeline SOTR for the Forgeline Wheels Spirit of the Race Award. Keep thinking about that. We're starting to think now about some pit stops, as the Lexus safety car, the official luxury vehicle of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, will come to Shea, who will tell me the pits are open, I presume.
They are. We don't have any takers yet because they haven't made it all the way back down.
Here they come.
Oh boy.
Are you ready? Where are you standing?
Right smack dab in the middle. I'm across from the forward pit gantry if you're able to look at
Here's your
everything.
leader.
And everybody said, all right, leader's going to get to his pit box first. So that's the number 39 Carbon Motorsports Audi. That will be a driver change. Chef Westfall's green helmet up on the wall. They are doing 4 tires. No surprise to anybody there. The next car to hit its marks, Nate Stacey gets out. He has earned an ice cream, 4 new tires, and a Kyle Marcelli installed there. Alan Brynjolfsson out of the Volt Racing number 7 Porsche, 4 new tires, and a Trent Shipman installed there. Jane Buford will be taking over the number 40 pink Barney colored Mustang as James Pesic gets out. And for the number 82 Bimmer World BMW, that is James Clay getting out and Devin Jones getting in. We heard from Devin a little bit earlier. Spencer Pompelli time around the Laguna Seca circuit for the More Speed Audi. That's the number 18, 4 tires and fuel. 4 tires and fuel also for the number 33 where Russell Ward is out and standing on the pit wall, meaning Dominic Baumann is in. For the number 57, Christian Hohenadel has taken over for Bryce Ward. Fuel and tires there. And fuel and tires for Team TGM. And that is now Hugh Plum behind the wheel of that car. First car back out rolling is that number 39 Audi. Who's going to be the next one out to join us? Great stop from the Core Motorsports guys. They are going to leave third because Hugh Plum is next out on the line. No, it's going to be fourth for the Mustang because there goes the Mia McLaren after getting Corey Fergus and 4 tires and fuel. Then it's Eric Voss in the 56 Murillo Racing Mustang. And then it's pretty much everybody else. So it's a rather slow stop for both of the Aston Martins. Once again, I'm sad to report for them. And the number 57 still in the pit stop. They had a slow stop as well for the Windward Racing Mercedes. And guess what? Now I'm all alone again.
And that was good timing for the Compass 360 75 car because that closed right up again. And all right, lost a lot of real estate, but at least it's closed up. Now, what I did notice, though, first of all, a great pit stop by Ted Giovannis Motorsport to get Hugh Plum out ahead of a couple of cars that he came in following, but also the 92, the Ramsey 92 Mercedes, the dark red car, stayed out. So he's staying out. Was he off the lead lap?
No, he wasn't actually. He was on the lead lap.
So.
He was actually doing a really nice job in 16th position. Not quite sure why they wouldn't have. I think he must have missed the call to come into the pits. There's really no other reason not to have made a pit stop at that stage. You talked about that being good timing for the number 75 McLaren. True. Also for the number 69 car.
Yes.
I spoke to those guys before the start of the race, and they would say that they were struggling to go much more than 40 minutes on a tank of fuel. So they need this timing was perfect for them, and that could be a problem for the later on in the race. We're seeing the TCR cars on pit lane now, and let me just say one of the cars that got that wave around is still on the lead lap, is at number 23 car and a number 3 in actual fact. They both had incidents already in this race. They're still on the lead lap in TCR.
Both Hyundais, fuel and tires as Mark Wilkins gets into the 98, and it is Harry Gottsacker into the number 21. There is a problem for the 17. That Audi will be coming back in to serve a drive-through penalty. The wheels are still spinning on the jacks. They were spinning for a solid 15 to 20 seconds. That will not be a good end to their day, as all 3 of the LA Honda World Hondas are in. And yes, I said all 3. We have all 3 back. Fuel and front tires for all of them. The first car back out running. Wow, it is the black Hyundai. That is the number 21 machine. We've also had a driver change for the number 61 Road Shagger Racing car. That's Gavin Ernstone out and John Morley in. And let's see who's going to be the 3rd car to roll off the pit lane. It is them. It is that number 61 crew. So a fantastic effort from them, as the 23 has had a driver change. James Vance in, Nick Galante out, and the Atlanta Speedworks car also with a fantastic stop. Todd Lamb and Brian Henderson swapping out of the car.
Behind them, the 37 Honda, Tom O'Gorman goes out next. Then it's James Vance in the 23 Audi, 89 Honda, Chad Gilsinger, the Hart car back with us this weekend. They were out in 7th position of the TCRs, but the 2 Hyundais out in 1st and 2nd. But with Harry Gottsacker down in the lead in the black 21 car, they turned that car around quicker. Mark Wilkins will be in 2nd place, but John Morley jumping through in that dark grey Audi RS3, the 61 car. Magnificent stop for them. Let's run through what is going on. Let's not forget the week that they've had with the team that they were racing with, EU parts, disappearing and does not exist anymore. So they've done a cracking job to turn that car around. At the front of the field, it will be the 92 Mercedes from Jeff Westphal now behind the wheel of the 39 Carbon Audi. But don't forget that 92 dark red Mercedes has not made its pit stop yet. Third, Owen Trinkler's name still next to the 46, but I presume it was Hugh Plum that got into that car. We'll just get that checked as we're waiting for the FAF Motorsport guys are waiting for their car to come in. Then it'll be Corey Fergus. So this is the 13 McLaren coming in, having got its wave by presumably after its first issues and trying to get back on the very end of the lead lap. Remember, they were one of 3 cars involved in a schmozzle at the exit of turn 2, the Andretti hairpin, at the first lap at the drop of the green. Murray Fadani will get out, Chris Green will get into that car. And as Jeremy said, there's a couple of cars who've got back onto the end of the lead lap in TCR, one of which is the number 3. That's the Alfa Romeo, the bright red Alfa Romeo, which is still just slightly smoking from the right front, and he's coming back into the pit lane with that car. So they may have to do a bit more of remedial work for Robbie Nash as he comes in. But we'll hopefully hang on to the end of the lead lap in TCR.
Yeah, so the big losers in GS during that round of pit stops. Number 33 car has fallen from 3rd on the road to 7th. It's dropped one of those positions because 92 car stayed out, but it certainly lost a handful of positions there during that round of pit stops. And then the Aston Martins dropped a long way down. The 09 car came in the 6th position, is now running in the 13th. So that's yet another bad pit stop for automatic racing. That's got to stop, chaps.
Yeah, both of the Astons were.
Yeah, well,
slow,
unfortunately, it's often the case. Something needs to change because the cars are super fast and they make themselves way too much hard work to do in a race.
We might have to ask Shea about this and to take a bit of a more careful look. It's very difficult, of course, when everybody's in. But is there something that is taking? Is it just the fuel takes a long time? We had that a couple of seasons ago, Shea, didn't we? When some of the early Porsche Caymans took a very long time to fill, and they just spent an extra 20 seconds stationary in the pits. Is there anything obvious from you that you've seen from the automatic Aston pit stops?
Unfortunately, it's nothing mechanical. It just seems to be like not everybody's doing the dance in the same way. You know what I mean? Everyone's in a different rhythm.
Okay. Well, that's something they can work on, and they really must. Going back to green flag with 1 hour and 8 minutes still to run. Fantastic run for Westphal. He'll go to the inside of the Ramsey Mercedes down into turn 1. Ramsey really needs to stay out of all of that, and does. Owen Trinkler gets jumped on the start-finish line and pops back down to 3rd position. Meantime, the number 60 of Kyle Marcelli goes side by side with the 2nd place McLaren, the Motorsport in Action car of Corey Fergus. So it's Westphal leading from Fergus in 2nd, but here comes Marcelli down the inside into turn 4. That's going to be very tight indeed, and they both think better of it. There's all kinds of dust being thrown up, as I think Owen Trinkler's got through the middle of them, certainly made up 1 position, might be able to make up 2. Excuse me, that's Hugh Plum that's restarted in that car. My apologies, still saying Hugh Trinkler, Hugh Owen, and yeah, you know what I mean, it's the 46 car.
Anyway. Exactly. That was tight.
That was very pit lane violation for the speed violation for the Alpha when it did its very quick pit stop there, and that will be a drive through 5 kilometres. Oh, there's been a big accident out on the circuit at the top of the hill at the corkscrew. Who's involved there? Nate Stacey's involved. There's a Mercedes grill in there. That was, I think that's one of the Murillo racing cars that was in there. That would be Eric Foss if it is. And the 92's going slowly as well. Compass Racing 75 is in there as well. The McLaren, all sorts going on there as they reach the top of the hill for the first time after the restart. Right rear damage, maybe suspension damage, certainly a puncture for the number 40 of the Ford. 92's in the pit lane. Aston's in the pit lane as well. So the 92 car was the one that lost the grille. I thought it was one of the Murillo cars. I thought it was bright orange. It must have been the red car. Yes, it was. 97 is a drive-through, we're hearing, for the Aston Martin. Chris Wilson having taken over that car. Now, most of the bits of car that have been liberated from each of them has fallen off the track. Nate Stacey going right up the inside. We had 4 wide at one stage.
Yeah, and the problem there was cool.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh. It's not a
Nate
40
Stacey
car.
on the
No,
two-
no, it's not.
sorry,
That's
no, that was
Jade Buford.
It was Jade Buford, yes.
But
Right up
that
on the
problem was
two-wheelers.
caused by the number 92 car. It was just awfully slow going through turn 6 there, and everybody else had kind of stacked up. They were 3, 4, 5 wide going up the Bobby Rahal straight there, and that was always a disaster waiting to happen. But that was caused by the number 92 car, excuse me, not making its pit stop when it should have done with everybody else. That's completely unnecessary.
Right over the front of the 92.
And the McLaren.
And the McLaren, yeah, the 40 Mustang of Jade Buford.
Goodness knows what number 92 team was thinking there by not getting Mark out of the way. I mean, he was doing a super job in that first
He really
stint.
was.
And there was absolutely no reason not to come in and leave the clip, because he's doing a super job for somebody who's very little experience. His first race of the season in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, but to keep him out there at the front end of the field was just plain wrong. Bad decision.
Yeah, and unintended consequences there. Clearly, they didn't expect that to happen.
No, but he's clearly not on these guys' pace. He doesn't have that
Tactically,
experience.
it's not great.
No, it's a daft move, really is. I think actually it was he who hit somebody else to push him into Buford actually as well.
I was trying to see who else was involved there. Was it Christian Hohenadel that was in amongst that, or did he manage to get round it? The Ford is getting some remedial work down in the pit lane. And Shea, I don't think we're going to see the 91. I don't think Alex Premat is going to get a go today.
I don't think there's very much left of the left front of the car, even if he could get it going again. The bumper has pulled away on the back of the 40. The bumper covering and the exhaust covering is sort of ripped down a little bit, but the crew is examining that left side of the car and the rear of the car to make sure that there's not any further suspension damage. The engine is still running, though, and Jade Buford still is inside that car. For the 92 Mercedes, though, it's not only missing the grille covering, but it's missing a lot of the left front bodywork, and Mark Ramsey is still sitting in that car, but they're going to push it back behind the wall. That car is done.
That's a great shame, because it was great to see that team back here again.
Absolutely.
A big stride forward for Mark Ramsey compared to where he was last season when he ran the whole full season with Alex Premat. So Alex is with his driver coach there and kind of mentor, has done a good job, but that was a bad strategic decision not to bring him in to the pits.
Bit of housekeeping, the earlier incident between the Alfa number 3 and the 54 Audi, which saw the damage to the left front of the Audi. That has been reviewed by race control, no further action.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So maybe they couldn't see enough, Jeremy, to see that there was contact between those two.
I can't think of any other reason why the number 54 car would have stepped out at that point in the corner, but hey, they have more information than we do, that's for sure.
92 is going behind the wall, as Shea has mentioned. That's the AMG GT. Shea, they've got off down the pit lane. Where are they going?
They've gone beyond the cut through to get out of the pit lane, and they're going to the way out of the pit lane that you can only get to when the track is cold. So now the mechanics, who just had to sprint up to that end of the pit lane, are now having to push their damaged car back to the cutout in the wall that is about 50 feet in front of their pit box.
Rather too much excitement of a type we don't like to see here, with 1, 2, 3, 4 cars wide at one stage, and the number 40 car going up. So who's that right in the middle? That's the McLaren, isn't it? That's the so it was the McLaren that was driven over first by the number 40 Ford, which still hasn't come back to the pit lane. That's stranded
but
just
the 92
beyond.
car wasn't doing a good enough job of keeping out of the way on the right-hand side of the racetrack.
Yeah, correct. The 75 McLaren then still stranded up at the exit to the corkscrew.
So the number 60 car, was an incredible restart there for Kyle Marcelli.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it was a brilliant first stint by Nate Stacey's the car from 22nd on the grid up to 5th. They
not
rejoined.
A mark on it, by the way.
No,
not
exactly.
A mark on it.
Rejoined in 5th after the pit stops. Net 4th with the number 92 car not coming out, but then on that restart, number 60 car went from 5th to 2nd. That's where he runs now, so he's managed to get past the 46 car and the 69, which got shuffled out in that whole incident, dropped several positions. Number 33 car is back up almost where it was. It was running 3rd before the round of pit stops, now in the 5th position, ahead of number 69 car. Behind them is number 18 car, that's the more speed Audi of Spencer Pompelli. Watch out for him. We know the Audi is very, very good around here. We know how good Spencer Pompelli is, and we know also how motivated he is to get the win that he should have had last year and several other years as well. Behind him also is Dylan Murray in car number 35. Good opening stint by Jim Cox, and good pit stop, an excellent pit stop by number 35 team. They vaulted him a handful of positions up to 9th at the restart. And then behind Dylan Murray is Robin Liddell, taken over from Frank Depew in number 71 car. That was running in the 20th position before the round of pit stops. Robin Liddell now is in 9th. A great pit stop by that team.
He's just lurking. They've won a quarter of the races.
He's a good lurker, isn't he?
He has. They have won a quarter of the races this year, that 71 crew. In TCR, Harry Gottsacker got out of the pits first and held on to the lead. John Morley up into second has passed Mark Wilkins before the track was neutralised. This, by the way, I presume, Shea, will be a quickie yellow, and the pits haven't actually opened. Okay, thank you, Shea says in my ears. So Mark Wilkins down into third. Todd Lamb now up into fourth for the 84 Honda Civic team. Then James Vance for the Fast MG Audi, the 23 car, the black and purple machine. Then Tom O'Gorman, who shuffled back. That car went into the pits, I think, in fourth with Shelby Blackstock, the number 37 car we're talking about there. Then Ryan Eversley for Hart in seventh. Eighth is the number 5, the black Alfa Romeo, with the stripes of the Bahamas on that car this weekend. Then the number 52 Colin Mullen Honda Civic, and that's your top 9. Top 10 is the 73, another one of the LA Honda World Civics. With, now which Pombo is that in there? That's Matt's Pombo. We don't have Mark this year to confuse a bear of small brain like myself. And only Devon and not Derek Jones, although they're not related this year, so that's making our lives a bit easier. We're under under an hour to go, and we'll be going back to green shortly, I think. And Jeff Westphal will have to do what Tyler McQuarrie did earlier on and try and build up that lead. He's got Kyle Marcelli looking exceptionally quick in second place behind him. Then Hugh Plum. Hugh was really, really decisive, jumping through traffic early on in front of Eric Foss in the 65, in the 56 Mercedes. The 65 car is back out for Murillo Racing with a little bit of tape over the right-hand front of that car, trying to keep it in one piece.
Yeah, so still a long, long way to go in this race. We're just past the halfway point. 57 minutes remaining when we go back to green, which I think should be fairly soon now. And we've got 15 cars on the lead lap in GS and a dozen are on the lead lap in TCR, so stand back. Talking of TCR, we're joined now by the winner of this race last year, Britt Casey Jr. Not doing a full season this year, unfortunately. We've had a couple of strong runs, but not at the winner of this car. You know what it takes to race and win here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. What's the key from a TCR perspective?
And guys, for kind of part of the broadcast, this track, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse by saying it, but it's really tough on tires, and not because it's super abrasive, because it's actually the opposite. You tend to get yourself wrapped up and overuse the tires if you're not careful, and building a setup that's conservative rather than super fast tends to be what happens here in terms of victories. So that's what we did last year, and I would be surprised if the guys in the front weren't approaching it the same exact way, because it's just so low grip.
Now, we talked in our Keys to the Race break about tyres, about pit stops, about patience in traffic, and about executing a plan. Plans go out of the window very quickly, though, once you have yellow flags, and particularly if you have multiple yellow flags, and when it eats into the race like this. Now, everyone's just got a new set of Michelin tyres. Is there any way they can last to the end of the race from here? And what are the crew chiefs going to be telling their drivers right now?
Well, I think if you were to run, 10 tenths for the next 56 minutes, I would doubt it. I don't see at all how you'd have enough tire at the end in both GS or TCR.
Well, GS are going to be fuel limited as well, but TCR probably will be able to go to the end from here on fuel.
Yeah, and if there's not another yellow, it's going to be tough to make the tires last. Not because they don't do their job, but just because it's the situation at hand. It would take a lot of conservation from a driver's perspective to save enough just to be there.
Safety car lights are out on the Lexus that's bringing them around. All the hard work got to start again. And the TCR is very quick, particularly in the early part of the lap here, and quicker perhaps than some of the GS cars ahead of them, Britt.
Yep, definitely. It's the same story. It's been like this for the last almost 2 seasons now. A lot more downforce in the TCR package, but long run capability is not the same as GS. You may get a really good one-lap showdown between the two classes, but the TCR is going to fade over time just because of what kind of car it is.
And what's your plans for the rest of this season and moving forward?
Well, we're going to be back. Me, Mikey Taylor, and I are going to be back at Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, and then just still trying to figure out things from there. Next year I'm still full-time in school, so I'm a senior in college now. So I gotta finish that because you only get a certain time frame to get that finished up. But definitely looking to be full season next year.
I wish you all the best in that. Britt Casey Jr. joining us in the booth. We're about to go back to green with just under 55 minutes to go. And Jeff Westphal sees the green flag, gets a good start, but the big Mustang, and it is a big car behind. Hoves into view. Tries the, was there a touch there? I think there was on the leader. Sideways movement, and the person who benefits from that is Hugh Plum, who slips through into second. It just looked like Kyle Marcelli was a tiny bit late on the brakes, tried to go around the outside to the right-hand side. May have just clipped the Audi, the leading car, and put himself actually too far off the racing line. Just healing as well, by the way, the other Mustang, the number 40 car involved in that scary-looking up-in-the-air moment at the top of the corkscrew, has gone back behind the wall. Harry Gottsat got a decent restart in TCR and still leads, but it's John Morley in second. He made that pass just before we had the yellow flag and the safety car out on the circuit. Top three now then. Jeff Westphal from Hugh Plum in second for TGM, Giovannis Motorsport. So it's Carbon, the leaders. Now the thing is here, and surely Hugh Plum will know this, but Casey Jr. with us. Hugh Plum knows that car is the championship leader. He also knows that he's not in the championship, and he knows that Jeff Westphal knows that as well. So a bit of pressure here might see him get a bit of an advantage.
Right, and the 46 car, I believe, 1 year last year, so they're trying to do it 2 years in a row. But
Robert Liddell into the pits. Robert Liddell, sorry about that, Britt. Robert Liddell from 9th position has dived into the pits. Now, is this a bit of crafty strategy here from the guys at Rebel Rock? They're filling the car, that's all they're doing. They're going to brim fill this car. Now, that is the end of the first. Oh, Robert stalled it, he'll get it going again. The pits were open, I presume, Shea, when they came in because the safety car had left the lap before.
No, they were closed because the field hadn't completely passed by yet. Let me double check with Johnny Knott that the pit lane was indeed closed, but the lights are still on.
Right, copy that. I think they may have pitted, you know why I asked that, Shea, I think they may have pitted that car a lap early. That might get them a drive-through, but they're trying to stretch the fuel window for Robin as much as they can. New leader in TCR, and it's John Morley who's gone through and gone past the number 21 of Harry Gottsacke, the Hyundai Veloster. That's a brilliant run from those guys. Gavin Enstone did his very best. They were so well up at VIR, and an incident late on in the race took them out of it. It must be going down towards the second corner. The first corner is the little kink just after the start-finish line. John gets a good run down the inside there, Britt. That's a pretty safe, secure and copybook manoeuvre here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
Definitely. Now it becomes an emphasis on saving the car. You can see he's pulled away a little bit of a gap, but no need to run away. 51 minutes to go, and the car will eat itself apart if you're not careful.
Wasn't number 46 on? Oh, it's
In
on
the
pit
pit
lane as
lane.
well. Okay, fine.
These guys are filling to the end.
Yeah.
These guys are filling to the end. Chad, don't expect to see tyres on the 46 TGM AMG.
It is fuel only for this number 46 Mercedes that won 1 year ago. And if there's anybody who knows how to win a race on strategy, it would be Joe Vardy. That's a man who's sitting on their pit box. Fuel probe comes out, and Hugh wastes no time getting some heat back into those tires as he leaves the pit lane.
I love the completely unfussed way that they did that. Oh yeah, fuel, select first gear, slip the clutch a bit. Beautiful, great pit stop.
And there goes Robin Liddell heading down towards that Mario Andretti hairpin as well. It's be interesting to see where those two cars come out in relation to one another. And you're right, the McLaren certainly, I mean, the best of them right now is down in the 6th position, kind of 69. They can't do that yet because they would not have enough fuel to make it to the end from here. They can only do 40 minutes or a little bit more if it's green flag all the way from here.
Yeah, they've got another 10 minutes, we reckon, before the McLaren can make their last pit stop on fuel. The question will be, will it be fuel or tyres that is the deciding factor? Last lap around, a new fastest lap of the race for Jeff Westphal as he's pulled out now a couple of seconds on the field, 1:32.239.
And the old lap record, race lap record of 1:33.466. That was set a couple of years ago actually by Brandon Davis in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
TCR battle, and we've got last year's TCR winner with us here in the studio, Britt Casey Jr. What a week it's been, what a week of up and downs in motor racing in something like this. John Morley and Gavin Enstone, part of the Euro Parts team until the early part of this week when that team went away and closed its doors. They've managed to get enough people, enough kit, enough spare parts to run the car, and they're leading the race. What a race week for these guys.
Yeah, good for them. You know, it's good to see them up front. They definitely deserve it. You know, just situations out of their control. They've been towards the sharp end of the field all season, and they finished most of the races. So it definitely says something to them and their commitment to actually finishing out this championship. And for them to be up front, you know, that's a stout effort for sure. Round of applause to them.
And Gavin's been coming on leaps and bounds this year by his own admission. He's, you know, not got the experience of, say, John or some of the rest of the drivers in the TCR field. Had a little couple of toes in the water last year with a couple of races. Didn't want to commit to a full season. Has done this year. I think he'll be pretty pleased with his progress and the team's progress this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, it's good to have a first full season under your belt. You learn a lot for sure. And you know, just building on top of that is a big thing. And again, for them to show commitment to the rest of the season is really good.
And how easy or difficult is it then for a driver with not so much experience to jump into one of these Audi RS3 TCR cars and feel comfortable in it and therefore drive well and race well?
Sure. The car itself is pretty stable, and it definitely is confidence inspiring. However, extracting the most speed out of it is difficult, just like any race car. And it's getting in it is comfortable at first, but getting the most out of it is definitely takes some work.
Battle in GS going through turn 4 at the moment, and fighting back is Dominic Baumann after a not great pit stop, unusually from the Windward guys, but he's already made up positions. He's side by side at the moment with the more speed Audi of Spencer Pumpelly, mainly because he was trying to attack the car in front before that, Eric Voss. It's so tight here, you attack one car ahead, you lose a bit of momentum, and then somebody's right on your rear bumper here. That's how close this IMSA racing is in the Michelin Pilot Challenge.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It looks cool, and being at Laguna, it promotes really tight racing. It's not a super long track. It's very technical, very flowing, and it's hard to pass.
It is, but we've seen some lots of good passing during this race. I'll tell you what, the guy who's on the move at the moment is the race leader, certainly turning a torrid pace. He set two new fastest lap records in a row, but last time around it was the second place car, Carl Marcelli, that retook the fastest lap of the race. In second place, ahead of Jeff Mosing in third, and then another Mercedes right behind him. That's Dominic Baumann, who's making his debut in the Michelin Pilot Challenge this weekend.
So the Carbon Audi Championship leader has weathered the storm for the moment. Don't forget, Hugh Plum dropped out of that fight tactically to go into the pit lane. The 46 car and the 71, both we believe, fueled to the end, sitting down in 26th position and now behind a dozen TCR cars. And they'll have to fight their way through that. That could take some performance out of their Michelin tyres. Battle for third position. Eric Voss in the metallic tangerine AMG GT4. Similar car, different paint scheme behind. Dominic Baumann in that car. Good first stint by Russell Ward.
Very good.
Yeah, very
His
impressed
best.
by. I think that's possible. I was just about to say, I think that's possibly one of his best drives. Really, really mature. Loves this place. It's funny, isn't it, Britt, how some drivers take to a particular circuit, and of course the more comfortable you feel, the better you go, and then the more you like the circuit. It's a nice virtuous circle.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, you just got to feel comfortable, and then after that, you know, you get all the technical aspects down, and you just start testing your own confidence at these places. And, you know, I'm looking at the 18 of Spencer in the R8 GT4, and you can tell he is using everything on the racetrack, and he's trying to make up ground, you know, between the Murillo car and the car behind him, and then Spencer. I mean, he's using more exit curbing, he's rotating the car a lot more efficiently, and he's all over them in the corners and under the braking. He can roll the speed in, and you can tell Spencer's a fan of this place. I like it a lot too. It's just one of those places where it doesn't reward ultimate fast lap time. It actually more so rewards, you know, conservative setup and being able to make it to the end.
Have you driven the Audi GT4 car yet?
Oh yeah. That's the coolest thing about it is actually the braking. I love the brakes on it. You can go so deep, and like the RS3, it's confidence inspiring, but I'd say under braking, it is significantly more confidence inspiring. Like right there, you see the 18, he just brushes the exit curbing on the very edge of it. It just shows, you know, Spencer knows his place. Obviously, he's been around the sport forever, and one of the veterans and fastest guys in the paddock, really. So he's just maximizing everything right now.
These GT4 cars, and as you say, you know the Audi particularly, but the Mercedes as well, they actually, right, take away the paint jobs. If you had a slightly less race-inspired paint job, in fact, we've seen the Winwood cars running in pretty much plain silver before, they look pretty stock from the outside, but these are proper race cars underneath, aren't they?
Oh yeah, as soon as you open the door, you can see the inside is completely stripped away.
As soon as you open the door, you realize how light the door is.
Right,
actually.
we can start there too. Yeah, the carbon fiber doors, you know, carbon fiber. A lot of the body panels are carbon. It's not full carbon external shell like a GT3 car, but inside, you know, it's very similar to a GT3 in terms of layout of the cockpit area. A lot of the cars were on the same seats as GT3. The wheels are very similar looking usually, and you know, it looks more like a street car from the outside, but I think it kind of helps from a marketing perspective, to be honest.
Great. I really do. And they've got some downforce, but not too much. Pumpelli still pushing hard. Maybe they're just getting a little bit of aero push from being that close going through turn 3 to the AMG 33 of Dominic Baumann ahead of him. And what that means is that the cars, they're not working in the air. It's disturbed air. The air's not giving the push, the downforce that Spencer was thinking. He just got a little bit of understeer or push there going through turn 3. It doesn't have to be a lot because you're really committed here. There's no room for error.
Right. I like to call it the invisible hand. It's like you're turning into the corner and you expect the car to rotate a certain amount, and your eyes are already going where you think it's going to go, and then you get the aero push, and it's like, well, I'm not getting as much rotation here as I thought, and you can't tell. You just got to know what that barrier is to get used to it. You can use it to your advantage once you're you know, knowledgeable enough about it, but up until that point, you know, it's tough.
That was a power-reduced slide, I think, coming off the corkscrew there for Eric Voss, number 56 car. He's got the other Mercedes right behind him, number 33 of Dominic Baumann. There's lurking behind him is Spencer Pumpelli.
And behind that, Jeremy, the purple bonnet of Dylan Murray in the next car back in line. That's the number 35 Mercedes, and Christian Hohenadel will be loving this as well, because the team will be telling him that he's doing faster times. Back down into the second corner, the Andretti hairpin, this time side by side, the two AMGs battling for third and fourth, but still Baumann can't get it done. Eric's doing nothing wrong here. Spencer Pumpelli getting more and more leery, and again through turn number 3, desperately wants to close the gap. I think he thinks he's got a chance, possibly even going into 5 if he can get a run through 3 and 4, because that Audi is so good there's just not that much braking into 5. It just fractionally, it'll be left foot on, covering the brake, and what, maybe 1, 2 sort of pressure out of 10.
Yeah, I mean at most a 4 out of 10. You know, if maximum brake is turn 2, it's 1 gear downshift, maybe 2 into 5. So it's not a lot of decel at all. Really not a good place to pass.
It's really a fast corner.
Oh, yeah.
It looks at the banking there. There's a distinct camber in the road. You can carry a lot more speed into that corner than you think you can.
Pumpelly just touches the 33 of Bowman as they come down through turn 9. That's brave to toughen out side by side
says
there.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Bowman says, "Are you daft? What's going on here?" And these cars do run with quite a lot of camber in the wheels, which means the wheels are sitting out at the bottom at an angle, and what you don't want to do is get tangled up. There was just, the door was open a crack, and Pumpelly got 3/4, maybe halfway alongside.
Yeah, he probably just backed out of it. I mean, if there were 5 minutes to go, yeah, that was close. That was more like a message delivering right there from Bowman. But you know, if it was 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, Spencer probably would have kept it in there. I think he lifted at the exit.
Let's go down to Shea Adam, who's got a pit lane caller with 40 minutes to go. That's McLaren fuel stop time.
It is, and they have the tire gun out over the wall, looking to see which ones they might want to change, and they just tightened the left rear. Now that's interesting. They ran around and made sure that the other ones were tightened as well. Remember, the other McLaren team was doing that when they were in for their pit stop, tightening up the right rear. Now fuel probe has been out for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on, guys, you're losing a lot of time. You could have been tightening those wheel nuts while the car was getting fueled, but nope. They lost about 13 seconds, ironic, because that's the number on the side of the door, while they were waiting for the car to then go back out.
That car well off the pace, down in 31st position.
Behind.
And off the lead lap anyway now. I think they might even lose
the significance of that is
it's 40 minutes.
Yes, so the McLarens can make it to the end from here. And if there's a full course caution, those guys who have pitted are in good shape. But what's also interesting is that those 2 cars that have pitted that are on the lead lap, number 46 and the 71, now they have to work their way through the TCR cars. That's going to cost them time.
Here comes Bowman round the outside again. He's tried this a couple or 3 times. Eric Voss just eases up to the outside. Bowman goes really deep. Now can he diamond the corner off and come back? He's got grip. He's found some kind of grip on the cushion out there and has gone round the outside. That was a really intense move from Dominic Bowman. Had to go a very long way out in the middle of the Andretti hairpin, but somehow Britt Casey Jr., he did find some grip out there, almost like a dirt track move on the cushion. Got the push off the corner and the traction off the corner and made it stick.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the 33, you know, see if he builds a gap, because that helps all 3 of those cars battling. You know, the leaders first and second in front of them, they've pulled away while they were all trying to establish positions, and they just they gotta get in line and start moving forward.
Just see Tom O'Gorman making up a place on Todd Lamb there, as there were TCR cars pointing in all directions going into the middle part of turn 2. I wasn't really sure what I was watching there for a moment, but I think they all made it.
Yeah, and John Morley is edging out a lead there in the number 61 car, the WeatherTech Racing Audi, over the 2 Hondas of Gottsacker and Wilkins. Remember, those 2 are the first 2 in the championship, but the other way around.
Correct.
So your number 21 car will get even closer here. They've a 5-point margin coming to this race.
Into the pit lane for Eric Voss. You can really hear the AMG scraping the ground with various parts of the circuit. This is the 39 championship leading car from the lead. Jeff Westphal, 5 points. And coming up just to say as well that the more speed Spencer Pumpelly Audi did get by the Eric Voss car and before he headed for the pit lane. So they are now battling for the lead. Excuse me, for second place, Bowman and Pumpelly.
This is an interesting strategy.
Interesting strategies for Carbon.
Right side only for this 39 Audi that comes in leading the championship. For Jeff Westphal, they are doing what looks like 4 tires for that 56 Murillo Racing Mercedes. And for the Bimmer World BMW, not their day today, but they are doing right side tires only as well, having looked further down the pit lane and noticed what the Audi was doing.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Audi's been really, really good on its tyres for sorting that first stint that Tyler McQuarrie was able to maintain a pretty consistent gap over everybody else in this field, and we'll see where that car comes out in relation to the TCR field.
36 minutes to go. Britt Casey Jr. with us, and we talked about tyres and 2 tyre stop. Do you like the call, 2 tyre stop on the right side?
I mean, it depends on how your car's handling is. You know, I think the 39 car showed their cards a little bit. They're comfortable only taking right sides, whereas the 56 had to take all 4. You know, generally it's more mid-engine stability, so maybe they only need right sides, but it clearly paid off. You know, they saved about 10 seconds on pit lane from the 56.
And a drive-through penalty, as into the pit lane comes the Mercedes of the Mustang, excuse me, of Carl Maselli. It is the Mercedes that is getting a penalty for incident responsibility with the 69 McLaren. So that is Christian Hohenagel.
We saw that,
Is taking a penalty for contact with the 69 Motorsport in action. They've had more hits than Elvis Presley, haven't they, over the last couple of weeks? They seem to have a car magnet in it. 60 car in the pit lane. Kyle Marcelli presumably staying in, Shea.
Yes, he is, and he also got 4 new Michelin tires.
Yeah, that's going to be important. 35 minutes to go. And on new tyres, as against a couple of people who I think are going to try and go to the end. And by the way, Jeff Westphal came out behind the 2 cars that stopped.
Yeah.
So he's behind Robin Liddell. Hugh Plum carving his way through. He's back to 10th overall, 9th in class. And we think most, if not all, Jeremy, of the cars ahead of him will have to make a splash for fuel. I think Hugh Plum...
GS cars?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, no, I completely agree
think
with
Hugh
you.
Plum is net leader of the guys that stopped. He could be leading the race in not so very long.
And the last couple of 3 laps, he made much better progress through those TCR cars than did Robin Liddell, who had been catching him before that. After their pit stops, the gap between those 2 was 2.4 seconds or so. It'd come down to a second and a half, but now it's gone out again. And as you say, the number 39 car, after it stopped and only taken on 2 tyres, is behind both of those 2.
Spencer Pumpelly in the more-speed Audi in. Shea Adam is watching.
Fuel and tires, at least right now, it's going to be right side tires. Let's wait and see when the fuel probe comes out how that relates. By the way, Hohenagel comes and does his drive-through penalty in that number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes, and they are up on the wall for the 33 to come in very, very soon. It is right sides only for Spencer Pumpelly, and man, did he wait for every last drop of fuel. Spencer has way too many finishes here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, where he can see the finish line, he just can't get to it.
Cough, splutter, oh dear, I think, from that. TCR, Gotzacker, Wilkins back into 2nd place with James Vance now in 3rd for the Fast MD Audi, the number 23 car. Out comes the Mercedes car. Where's he going to rejoin? I don't think this has worked with them staying out. No, it hasn't. He's going to come out behind Robin Liddell. In fact, he's even further back than that. So getting in early, even with the TCR traffic, Britt Casey Jr., the guys have done better by getting in early. And Robin Liddell, and particularly Hugh Plum in the 46 car, they are in great shape at the moment as the leader, Dominic Baumann, was scored as the leader of the race. This is the 33 car. Now, what do we reckon here, Britt? 2 tyres, 4 tyres, or no tyres?
I mean, the fact that the 18 of Pumpelly also took right sides like Carbon, I'd be surprised if the 56 didn't do all 4, or the 33 didn't do all 4 like the 56, but I didn't see any left sides come out of the pit box there.
Yeah, with 32 minutes to go, the tyre drop-off is certainly going to be considerable before the end of the race from here.
This one's a new one. Rear tires only, by the looks of it. They've got new sticker tires still up on the wall, though. Michelin's that could go on the front. And wow, a very gymnastic move from their rear tire changer. And yep, rears only for Dominic Baumann. So this is going to be entertaining.
Oh, we're getting it all today. We are getting it all today. And this is what these short sprint races are all about, because people will have different ideas. 2 tyres right side only, 2 tyres rears only, all 4 tyres. And let's not forget that Hugh Plum in the 46 car, he's had no tyres. He got his tyres way back before he stopped for fuel, because he just topped up on fuel back at lap whatever it was when he was in the pit lane. What was that, 39 or something like that? 40, no, 50, 52.
The number 57 car made a crazy fast pit stop.
I know it was a drive-through, Jeremy. That was the drive-through.
Oh, right.
For incident responsibility.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Warning for the 46 of Hugh Plum, trackside violation, but just a warning at the moment.
Here goes passing 71.
Yeah, just watching the guys heading up the hill at the moment in TCR. I give you some incorrect information because, of course, John Morley in the 61 Roadshagger Audi is the man leading at the moment. Then it's the 200 Velocitas, and Johnny's now up to 8th position overall, and I reckon everybody ahead of him, apart from Hugh Plum, has to stop. He might end up getting scored pretty high up here before the GS cars have to fight back. But he will now surely be on tyre save mode at the front of the field, because he does not want to stop again, Britt.
No doubt, yeah, you have to save. I mean, he has a 4.5-second gap. You know, play it smart. Don't get yourself in traffic where you have to be aggressive on the throttle. And I was telling some guys before the race that are driving the 17 this weekend that I've also been driving, you know, just because the wheel's straight doesn't mean you have to be full throttle, and this is the place that happens.
21 slides a little bit wide there, and that gives the opportunity for his teammate in car number 8, Mark Wilkins, just to dive through on the inside at the Mario Andretti hairpin. I think 21 car there, just leaving a little bit of room for Spencer Popelli to go past him in that number 18 car, and it cost him.
Yeah.
The battle for what is eventually going to be the lead, though, number 46 car has got number 33 right with it. There's a great stop there by the Whitward Racing HTP team, and Dominic Bowman is right with Hugh Plum, but right behind those two, ominously, is Jeff Westphal in car number 39, the pole sitting car, and the leader for most of this race.
Yeah, well, within 4 seconds, you've got Hugh Plum in the 46. That's 5th position at the moment. Then Dominic Bowman. These have all stopped, remember. They've all made their last stop. Dominic Bowman in the win with 33. The 39 of Jeff Westphal, the leader of the championship, and Robin Liddell in the number 71 Chevy Camaro GT4R. Half an hour to go. Great battle in TCR. John Morley has pulled out a really good gap at the moment in front of the two Hyundai Velocitas, the 98 from the
33
21
car, past number 46 too.
Hugh has slowed. Hugh Plum is slowing on the front straight, is what we're hearing from Shea Adam. Is there a problem with that car? That would be cruel luck, because they got the tactics absolutely right. Of course they did. It's Giovanni on the pit box. Yeah, Mercedes is very slow coming out of the Mario Andretti hairpin, and so Dominic Bowman now assumes the pace of the cars that are fueled to the end. Shea Adam, is there a mechanical issue for Hugh Plum and the Ted Giovannis Motorsport AMG?
Nope, that is just the visual difference of new tires versus old tires.
No way.
Yep.
Well, they've got half an hour to go yet, so that's not going to work, is it?
No.
That's it. So now what is the call? And I wonder if Robin Liddell's having the same problem. I did a 34.5 last time around, but other people do 33s.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't put the power down with 30 minutes to go versus the other cars, I mean, it would be like emergency. You need to stop in the next 3 laps to get tires, or you're just going to get walked past, unless there's a yellow where, you know, you can get a lucky one. But right now the field's pretty stretched out, so why not, you know, not sacrifice as much track position by pitting under yellow.
Half an hour to go.
For anybody
who's
for the 4 cars that haven't yet pitted. Yeah, 35, 097 and 57. They haven't made their final pit stop yet, unless they think they can stretch it from here. You know, Trent Hinman's pretty darn good on fuel, and the team manager there is a guy called Mike Johnson, who's one of the best strategists, along with Giovanni on the pit lane. There's several really good ones, but he's certainly one of them. And you know, and Trent certainly is turning some pretty good lap times here, quicker than most of the cars that are behind him, with the exception of Carl Marcelli in kind of a 60. who turned a good lap that time around. He's a fair way down behind now the rest of those cars that have made that extra pit stop.
Now, here's an interesting nomination for the Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race Award. Hashtag Forge Line SOTR2 at IMSA Radio. How about the Carbon team, the 39 Audi, racing hard? They really don't have to. They're looking at the champion. This is a racing spirit. Like the look of that, says Carol Brink. Can't disagree with that. Carol, Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race. Hashtag Forge Line SOTR2 at IMSA Radio. 26 minutes to go. Britt Casey Jr. with us. All right, you're in the lead Mercedes, the 35 car. Are you going to stretch to the end? Would you rather be one of those cars out front, or would you rather be one of the cars chasing?
I want to be the car with the freshest tires and still on the lead lap. That is absolutely my goal. You know, I'm still hopeful. Well, not hopeful, but I would still expect one more yellow to happen. And you know, on that restart, whoever has the freshest tires is going to go to the front because they're just going to be able to eat up everyone. So, you know, freshest tires, yeah, not necessarily up front yet. You know, we still got a lot of time left, but you just got to be in position, capability of the car-wise, to be there to attack. And if you're not, this is the worst track for that to happen at.
Huge amount of nominations, and from Shea as well, I know, for Road Shagger Racing with what they've been through this week. Just hearing as well, by the way, the McLaren, the 13 car, going behind the wall after its woes already today. Forge Line Wheels, Spirit of the Race, hashtag Forge Line SOTR to add IMSA Racing. Britt, we see you back next time out at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
Looking
definitely.
forward to it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Going to be on the road next weekend at another race, just hanging around at the paddock up at Road America, and then a couple weeks after that, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. So yeah, my professors are being very lenient this semester.
Yes, well, thank you thank you from us for that, because we enjoy you behind the wheel of a car. Already planning for next year, I presume.
Yeah, definitely. That was part of the reason I came out here now. So you know, I was doing a little bit of consulting, you know, helping out the team with their new drivers, but also, you know, just having a couple meetings here and there. So yeah, nothing confirmed yet at all, but you know, just working on stuff. It should take it a day at a time.
Good for you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck with all the meetings, and we'll see you back in the race car in your natural environment in a few weeks' time at Road Atlanta. Let's go down to Shea Adam, who's watching more pit stops.
They were planning to bring Christian Hohenadel and number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes into the pit lane, but it wasn't until, well, pretty much 2 seconds before he appeared on the pit lane that they decided they were going to go with 4 new Michelin sticker tires. Fueling has been done for quite some time now, and they are still working on the tire change, so clearly they are valuing new tires much, much more than the time they're losing from just doing 2.
Bit of a problem for the Aston Martin, going 3 wide into the second corner.
Well,
that's not the problem, although there was a little touch on the number 5, the black Alfa Romeo, the right-hand side of the clamshell bonnet on that number 97 automatic racing car. That's the green and blue car, is coming away, the right front, and that will be being looked at, I'm sure, by race control. I wonder if there was a little touch somewhere further back around the circuit. This might be, yes, ran into the back fairly comprehensively of the number 82 Bimmerwell BMW. Devon Jones behind the wheel of that car. He's made the pass, then gone down the inside of the Aston, of the Alfa, bumps the Alfa into the
number 23 car. That was James Vance came off worse in that whole thing. I think that was a legitimate move down the inside there by Chris Wilson in an Aston Martin on the TCR car on the Alfa. But poor James Vance was definitely in the wrong place, wrong time. But yeah, it was a mistake by Wilson coming under braking for turn 11 to hit that BMW so hard and gain the position. If he'd given the position back, he'll have a better chance of getting away with it.
So here's something to write down. The gap between first and second in TCR with 22 minutes to go is 3.6 seconds. That is coming down ever so slowly, but Mark Wilkins in the Hyundai and Harry Gottsager in the 21, the black Hyundai, are gradually bringing themselves back towards the Road Shagger Racing Audi, which is still leading. Meantime, fantastic battle going on in the midfield of TCR with the Pombo is the 73 car, is it? Yes,
Yep.
it is. Pomport in the 73 Honda. Right ahead of him, he's got James Vance. Todd Lamb's in there in the 84 yellow, white and blue Honda. Sorry, I paused there because there's a huge cloud of dust now at turn 4 where the Fast MD James Vance driven Audi RS3 went off the road, but he's carried on, kept his foot in, and Ryan Eversley's right in there as well in the red, white and black Hart machine. So still the 35 Mercedes leading by 8.1 seconds. Akil Rabindra, whose name we haven't mentioned too much today, in the 09 Aston Martin Vantage GT4, the mostly white car, in second by 8 seconds. Trent Hindman in the number 7 Porsche 718 came in third.
And those are the 3 cars that have not pitted since the caution period.
And they are the only 3. Dominic Baumann is 20 seconds further back, so 32 seconds off the lead. I don't think
Yeah,
you
with
can do
20
a pit
minutes
stop
to
in
go,
that
can
time.
these top 3 possibly make it? The Mercedes of Dylan Murray, the Aston Martin. We know the Aston Martin's pretty frugal. Certainly the old V8 Vantage was. We're not too sure about the new car, the AMR.
It's the same power plant as the
There's a Mercedes.
Mercedes
Yeah,
AMG,
exactly.
but it is tuned differently by Aston for the street car and the race car. This is all getting a bit exciting with Kyle Marcelli in the 60. Kyle Marcelli in the 60 Mustang in 9th position. The top 9 now all GS cars. But also the MIA McLaren, Corey Fergus, trying to fight his way back through as well. Ahead of him, Eric Foss. They're battling for class positions 12 and 13. Overall, 16 and 17. They've got 4 TCRs in front of them. TCR lead moves out to 4.1 seconds. Keep an eye on that. Very interested to see who has saved tyres between the Audi number 61, the Rochaga racing car, and the Hyundai Veloster, the Halter Autosport car.
Certainly good lead that Morley has over the Hyundai.
That Aston Martin bonnet.
The 21 car's fallen back quite a long way, hasn't it?
I think they're going to have to bring that Aston in, Jeremy, for the flapping bonnet. It's getting worse on the right-hand side after that touch in the back of the 82 BMW. Devon Jones still continuing in that car, but it was quite a crack. Aston number 97 in 10th position in class. And Eric Kotzak has now lost 3rd place.
Yeah, he's dropped quite a
Gordon's
long way
going
back.
through.
Yeah, he's dropped quite a long way back too.
It's the black. Number 21. Shea Adam down in the pit lane. What can you tell us in this last 18 minutes? In comes the Akil Rabindra car.
That's what I was going to tell you. Yep, they're doing fuel only for that Aston Martin. Yep, and I came down to the end of the pit lane where the 2 leaders who were staying out between Bill Riley and Mike Johnson with our strategists. I'm going to read their faces and ask them if they feel like gambling today.
Well, that's interesting. I don't understand if you've got the car standing still why you wouldn't put a couple of tyres on the Aston.
With only 15 minutes to go, I think you need a track position. Probably I'll take that over the tyres at this stage. Everybody else's tyres are getting fairly well worn as well. They're not much newer than yours at this stage. He's going to come out ahead of Kyle Marcelli, but is he going to be able to keep that position?
That's now 7th, 8th and 9th together on the circuit under the Cooper Tyres bridge. As they head into turn 4. Can Rabindra hold him out? He can't, and he's going to lose a couple of positions here as Hugh Plum also comes through. They're side by side going into turn number 5 and heading up the hill in the afternoon sunshine here. Oh, so close to a touch, but Hugh Plum can't get up the outside, swaps to the inside of turn number 6, not going to work. but the 60 car of Kyle Marcelli, that's a Ford Mustang GT4, has gone through. The red car with the monochrome stars and stripes on the roof. Beautiful light at this time of day here. Our team of camera operators doing a brilliant job for those of you watching on IMSA TV. Hello to our colleagues up in Charlotte. Thank you again for allowing us to be part of the broadcast. Really good stuff today with this coverage, thoroughly enjoying it. I know that they will say if you've got decent content, it all looks a bit better. Well, you've got great backdrops, fantastic racing. It's all adding up to being one fabulous race, which still has 16 minutes to go. Let's not forget. Mercedes then, out in front. The shaded purple car coming through, scraping the under tray through the top of the corkscrew, and then again through turn number 9. Meantime, the battles continue. Oh, little touch there going into the Andretti hairpin. That's between the invisible glass Aston Martin, which is holding the position. This is the 97 car, holding 10th position. And then Corey Fergus trying to fight his way back. There was just a touch on the left rear that pitched the Aston sideways. Fortunately, the big air brake that they've got on the front, I think, pulled it back straight again. Now he's got damage at the front right, at the back on the under tray now as well. There's something hanging down on that Aston Martin Vantage. Then we've got the BMW coming back, the 82 car. Now that was the car with Devon Jones behind the wheel. That was the car that the Aston ran into the back of to derange the bonnet in the first place. Behind that, it's the bright metallic orange Eric Voss 56 Mercedes with new tyres, remember, that car. It's the car that stopped most recently. Shea Adam, 14.5 minutes to go. Battles down the field between cars with tyres, cars without. Battles at the front of the field between Dominic Baumann, Jeff Westphal and Spencer Pumpelly, all who are fueled to the end. And the 35 Mercedes with Dylan Murray and Trent Hinman in the 718 Cayman, the number 7 car. They're all battling together as well. Who is looking confident?
No one. So for the first 2 cars, in terms of the grid position right now, the Riley Technology and the Volt Racing, they both would feel a little bit more comfortable if we had a little bit of yellow. Well, everybody further back in the field really hopes that there is no more yellow, because if there is a yellow, then that man named Eric Voss with the 4 fresh tires is sitting prettiest.
Yeah, the other thing as well, if there's yellow, they won't pit, of course. They're just wanting to save fuel because they can't give up the track position for tyres. So the point that Shea makes is all about the cars just saving fuel. And
tell you what, though, the longer the number 35 car goes, the shorter its stop is going to be.
Well, that is true. That is true. TCR, and all of a sudden, John Morley has got a heck of a lead on the rest of the field, because there's a whole gaggle of GS cars between himself and Mark Wilkins. Tom O'Gorman in third in the 37 Honda Civic. He's only 2.6 seconds behind second place. So that dark bluey grey number 61 Audi just going through the corkscrew now, diving down through the turn 9.
Yeah, he's done a really good job.
I thought Gavin did a good job at the start.
He did fine. Yeah,
there is not a mark on the car.
No, kept his nose clean. A great pit stop by those guys.
And given that what those guys have been through this week, I know we've mentioned this before, but if you're just joining us, that was under the auspices of E-Europarts Racing. E-Europarts, the company, and E-Europarts, the racing team, has folded. We've lost some cars. We pass our best wishes to anybody who's been affected by that, who was working for the team. But Gavin and John, with a rented truck, the car, and a few of the guys, along with some spare parts, got to this race and decided they were going to race. And my goodness, what a decision that has been. Is it a Forge Line wheel, spirit of the race kind of decision? It might be. Hashtag Forge Line SOTR.
It's been a great performance, certainly, and he Hyundai in second place now is Mark Wilkins, the championship leader, so certainly looking good for him. He's got about a couple and a half seconds over Tom O'Gorman, the early season championship leader, and number 98 ahead of the number 37 car, and not too far behind them. Tim Lewis Jr. has just moved into fourth place in the Alpha car number 5. He's just found a way past Harry Gottsecker, who seems to be struggling now with his tyres on number 21 Hyundai.
Well, they're going to go pretty much an hour, just over an hour, Jeremy, since they put tyres on that car, because they did that and they've not been back in, all of the TCR guys. I expect to see some lap times starting to go out a little bit. In fact, you know, our leader last time around, John Morley, 5 seconds slower than his best lap time. He's done a 34.9, he did a 39.7 last time around, and the gap is coming down. Mark Wilkins under 4 seconds again to the leader. And he's got to push on, Jeremy, because Tom O'Gorman's only a couple of seconds further back in third position. The leading 3 now 15th, 16th and 17th. That's the TCR first, second and third. They keep having that battle broken up by recovering GS cars on different strategies. Christian Horn-Ardell, the latest one to come through there, and the number 57 Winward AMG GT4. But I've got a little sneaking suspicion that that TCR battle could come all back together again, depending on who's got the tyres at the end, or at least who can drive a car that perhaps hasn't got as much grip at the end.
True.
As we have said many times in this series, Jeremy, in its previous iterations and as the Michelin Pilot Challenge, this is not over yet.
No, it is not. And down to 10 minutes remaining now in this race. And are the 35 and number 7 really going to run to the end from here? Certainly, if they do, no one's going to catch them by a long way. But I think
Dominic Bowman's not closing in on them anymore.
No,
it's still only 20
I think
seconds.
Dylan Murray has been turning a really good pace, and I think he might be able to make a pit stop and hang on ahead of everybody else.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It's going to be fairly close.
In fact, Dominic Bowman's lost about a second and a half to the leader. He was 20 seconds away, now he's 21 and a half. Bowman last time around, though, a 33.6, 35.8 for Dylan Murray. Now, if you start taking a couple of seconds out of the leader, and what have we got, 9 minutes? It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. We've only got somewhere in the region of 6 laps to go, and 21 seconds to the lead. Oh, and in comes the 35, just as we were talking about it. Shea Adam, this is the leader in the pits.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 seconds worth of fuel for Dylan Murray as he's missing the 3-pointed star on the front of that car.
Lost the lead.
He doesn't care though, he's going back out.
He's lost the lead as here comes Trent Hinman, and right in behind Trent Hinman is Dominic Bowman. They've gone through. He's lost first, he's lost second, and Hinman has not got the pace here. He lost 3 seconds last time around to Bowman. Yeah, Bowman's right on him.
I think Trent Hinman is trying to get to the end without an extra pit stop.
He's not going to win it, but has he run out of fuel? There was a cough and a splutter there from the 7 car. And here comes the Mercedes, goes through quite easily. Trent Hinman. Looked like there was a little cough or a splutter coming out of the Mario Andretti hairpin. There's a round of applause in the Winward Racing pit area. The Mobil 1 33 car then takes the lead. Dominic Bowman. Hinman is not going to win the race. He might get a podium position. Dylan Murray is back out now and fueled to the end, but obviously his tyres aren't at their optimum. Jeff Westphal right with Dylan Murray, the championship leader, could be yet on the podium. They've got a fantastic podium finishing record in that number 39 Carbon Audi. Spencer Pumpelly 4.5 seconds further back. 7 minutes to go, the lead has changed. The championship leading 39 Audi, 5 out of 8 races. Can they make it 6 out of 9? I think they probably can. Side by side, further back down the circuit as the most speed Audi goes through. And the 35 car, which was leading Murray, has dropped back behind Westphal. Westphal's got through into 3rd position. So Westphal looking to make it 6 out of 9 podium finishes and races on the season. That's an extraordinary record. That's why they're leading the championship. And he's only a second and a half behind Hindman. And Pumpelly now picking up the pace as well. Hindman might not be able to hang on to a podium here. He might have the fuel, but I'm not sure he's got the grip in the tyres. And at the head of the field, it is still Dominic Baumann. In TCR, by the way, the gap is down to just on 3 seconds. Mark Wilkins still trying to gain on the leader. Took half a second out of John Morley last time around. Trent Hindman fighting the rear guard action now with the championship leader right up behind him. Now Westphal won't want to do anything silly here. He wants the championship points. Up to the corkscrew. Left, right, fall off the end of the world. Feather the throttle, a little brake by Hindman. Hindman's got no grip. Hindman's got no grip at all in that Cayman. The car is moving around, he's having to balance it on the brakes and the throttle. It's only a matter of time here for the Carbon Audi. Takes a wider entry into the final corner, hoping to get better traction off right in the slipstream. It's not a very big car, the 718 Cayman, but it does make a little hole in the air that the Carbon Audi maybe can take advantage. Goes to the outside. Hindman is driving right in the middle of the road. It's good defensive driving. Very, very fair though. 5 minutes to go. This is your 5-minute warning, drivers and teams. Battle for TCR lead, down to under 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds. Mark Wilkins is coming. Wilkins is coming for the win. Is it going to be snatched from the Roadshagger team?
Is it on the pit lane? There's a car on the pit lane. I can't see which one it is.
McChaston,
That's
09 back in the pit lane.
car.
Back in the pit lane. That's the second stop for Rabindra. And they didn't get enough fuel into it when they stopped him. Oh dear. That's disastrous. They really need to get their pit lane strategy sorted out and execution. Phil says the Forge Line Spirit of the Race Award to IMSA for allowing worldwide streaming of the weekend. You've had a good evening tonight. What is it, 1 o'clock in the morning back in the UK? Hope you've enjoyed it. Coming down, under 4 minutes to go. Forge Line Wales, Spirit of the Race, hashtag Forge Line SOTR2 at IMSA Racing, please. More fuel for the Alpha, but that's the Papadopoulos car, which is further down the field. Here comes another try for second place, and this time it is successful. And the championship leader, Jeff Westphal, goes into second place. Baumann 4.6 seconds up the road now. So Hindman might just hang on now to a podium position.
Well, yeah, he's got to do a couple more laps at least.
Pumpelly is the danger at the moment. He's lapping about a second quicker than Hindman, maybe a little bit more than that. But I think time is on Trent's side here. 1:35.3 last time around for the leader, Baumann. Spencer Pumpelly 34.8, much quicker than anyone else around him. 34.2 for Kyle Marcelli in the Ford Mustang as he tries to chase down the erstwhile leader, the 35 Mercedes of Dylan Murray. Now what's happening in the TCR battle? Well, I'll tell you now. There is John Morley just gone through. It's just on 2.5 seconds. For Wilkins, Rabindra between them.
Yes, a little bit. Yes, it's a little bit more than that.
It's about 3 seconds. Got to back up to about 3 seconds. Yeah.
There's dices all the way down the field here. It's great stuff.
Well, we said it's not over till it's over. That's certainly the case. The Carbon car passing a couple of battling TCRs out there at the moment. James Vance and Ryan Eversley are having a great scrap, and hopefully see the leader. They do. Check that, the championship leader, the race. Oh, big mistake. It's turn 2 for James Vance. in the Fast MD number 23 purple Audi. Went so wide there, they nearly had to check his pass to let him back in again.
Done it a couple of times, either assisted or unassisted.
Well, I don't know whether he just missed his braking point there, Jeremy. We actually got a really good drive off the corner and he's challenging again. It'll be white flag this time around for our leader, Dominic Baumann, whose lead is, well, let's call it 5 seconds. A beautifully judged race for the number 33 crew.
Can Trent Hinman really make it? He's got another. He's quite competed. This lap, one to go.
Russell Ward will be delighted, Bryce Ward will be delighted for his son. It's been a really well-judged race. They've taken the opportunities. The second car was right up there as well until they had a
21 cars in the pits. That's the 4th place car in TCR, 2nd in the championship.
Well, that was making everybody's heart beat a little faster because they were all in at the same time, Jeremy. It's fuel only for the Gottsaka car. White flag for the leader in GS, but he's not going to pass the leader, I don't think, in TCR. He's got a couple of battling cars right ahead of him, but they are for 7th, 6th and 5th, and I don't think he's going to pass the TCR leader. What's the gap now between Morley and Mark Wilkins? It's down to a second, you know.
Yeah.
It's down to a second, and Morley, forget that, it's there, they're there together. It's the last lap for the GS leader, and John Morley is trying to coax this Roadshagger racing car home. This is a race outfit that didn't have a team at the start of this week, and have run the car themselves, as they did for a couple of races last year, in fairness, but they've taken some of the Europarts guys with them, and they are now fighting. They will have to do another 2.23 miles as they come to the turn 11 now. Under braking then, John Morley. He will know what's going on behind. They're going to have another minute and a half of battling as Dominic Baumann could almost kick out the clutch now, but instead he lights up the rear Michelins. He's enjoying this. It's Baumann, it's the 33 Windward car. It's Russell Ward, and it's the Mobil 1 sponsored machine who comes through the final corner. 2 hours has elapsed, and on Super Saturday, it's a super win for Windward. Through they come, their best finish. What a run for that team. Championship leaders, Carpard, have gone through in 2nd position ahead of Trent Hinman, who just hangs on to a podium position as Spencer Pumpelly in the Moore-Speed Audi got within a 2nd at the line. And that was
Brilliant try by Trent Hinman to make that fuel that long was quite remarkable. Judged it perfectly. I'm surprised he makes it round.
The rear valance is missing from the Hyundai, but that's not stopping him go after the leader. We've got half a lap now of TCR glory. We'll give them their just rewards and full credit. This is a fabulous, it's been a great race. The Hyundai's locked out the front row. They had battles early on. The 98 car dropped down through the field. It's fought its way back, but brilliant strategy. A great first stint from Gavin Enstone has given them the opportunity. They've got a slow Aston right in front of them. That's the Rabindra car. As they come out of the final corner, it's going to be a drag race to the line. And it looked like the Hyundai may have got a better run out of the final corner, but it will be the 61. It will be the Roadshagger Racing Team. John Morley, Gavin Enstone have won TCR. Let's go back to the GS winners. The 33 Windward Racing Mobil 1 team. Here's Russell Ward.
Russell, what is it about this place that just seems to suit you? You finally get a win.
You know, I don't know. I won my first race here on Friday the 13th about 4 years ago, and it was Friday the 13th yesterday, so I hope that's not a common trend. But you know, the team just did an awesome job. There was a lot of tire degradation, and really, I think we won on strategy. We took rears only at the pit stop, and you know, everybody did all four, and you know, luckily our car's really good over the distance. So hats off to the guys. Hats off to Dominic.
Congratulations, and good luck with the hangover tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. there is somebody who's in the early stages of a big party tonight. Those guys race hard. They'll enjoy that victory. Perfectly judged, Jeremy. That was very good indeed. Aggressive and decisive earlier on from Russell Ward. I thought he got the balance about perfect today, and then Dominic Bowman took it on from there. That was brilliant stuff. Shea, who've you got?
Gavin Ernstone, race winner in TCR. This is a long time coming. The emotion all over your face just completely describes the week you've had.
Shay, it's too much. It's the 2 weeks. It's the going into the wall at VIR, being in that situation. And, you know, I couldn't watch for the last half hour. I've just been absolutely petrified. I wouldn't look at a monitor. I wouldn't look at my team. I didn't want to know anything. And it's our first pro win. The team, we know the difficulties that we've had in the last 2 weeks with the previous team, and these guys came and rallied and just been amazing. I couldn't be prouder of our whole team. And John Morley's just amazing, isn't he? The guy can drive. So what an amazing day. One of the best days of my entire life.
Well, you did a great job too in the first stint. Not a mark on the car, and this was one of the best TCR pit stops. The future assured for you guys for the rest of the season. We're going to see you fighting for this championship at Road Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, wouldn't miss it for the world. There's no way. So we've got to go and win another race.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That is a great story. That is a great racing story. Teams disappear. It doesn't always turn out like that, and our best wishes to everyone who's been affected by that. But a great turnaround from John Morley and Gavin Ernstone, and they're even better to hear that there will be fight for the championship. But Russell Ward and Dominic Bowman have pulled it off.
I mean, the first race in this series for Dominic Bowman, Indy Johnson, not here this weekend, a regular co-driver for Russell Ward, but Dominic here, he's a factory driver for Mercedes, or a sort of, I think factory driver for Mercedes, and he's got the opportunity to come here this weekend, and that was a really, really good team effort by that HTP Motorsport Windward Racing team, and it was a well-deserved win. You know, they're battling hard. They've had all sorts of incidents and accidents over the last couple of years, but Russell Ward has really stepped it up well, and what a great drive that was. Great strategy, beautifully executed, perfect performance by them, and ditto for Road Shagger Racing in TCR, but lots of fantastic stories in this race.
Just doing our final additions for the Forge Line Wales Spirit of the Race Award. There's been some great stories, as Jeremy has said. The Carbon guys have had a lot of interest for the way that they've raced, really not thinking about the championship. And Trent Hindman for that last stint, and of course the winners as well, but it's not always the winners that get it. I have to say, what a happy smiling face from John Morley.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, John Morley. I mean, he was a star in the open wheel ranks, in the junior ranks of Barber Dodge Pro Series. He was really, really quick there. He's been out of racing, top line racing, for a long time, and hats off to Gavin Ernstone for giving this opportunity. Johnny, these days he's from the San Francisco area. Richard, I think if I remember rightly, from Columbus, Ohio, but he certainly made his home out here on the West Coast for many years, and he's a great character. He's a big tall guy to get in one of these cars, but it's a brilliant performance by him, and lots of great local stories here. I mean, John now is safe from San Francisco, and with the in GS, the championship pretty much secured now for Tyler McCoy and Jeff Westphal. They just need to turn up at Road Atlanta and start that race.
I do think they'll do that, don't you?
Well, yeah,
you don't think they're going to take a 2-week holiday?
They can't, because they're actually, I reckon they're now 34 points ahead of Jesse Lazar and Corey Fergus. And there's 35 points up for the win, so they can't afford not to go, but they wouldn't in any case. It's been a brilliant run, though.
The Forge Line Wales Spirit of the Race, so many good stories there. A lot of winners who could have got it, but it's really interesting. The car that's come through from 22nd on the grid and finished 6th, Spirit of the Race, the Forge Line Spirit of the Race Award goes to the 60 Ford Mustang, the Court Motorsport car. Brilliant first stint in particular, and backed up well by Kyle Marcelli. He was a bit unlucky with traffic, might have even been higher up the field, but that was a great run, and exactly what the Spirit of the Race is all about. It's not always about the winners, it's about people who just keep trying. 22nd up to 6th. pretty decent return for them and worthy winners of the Forge Line Wales Spirit of the Race Awards.
Hats off to them, a really, really fine performance.
TCR Championship, Jeremy.
TCR Championship, Mark Wilkins and Michael Lewis will extend their lead. I think Shelby Blackstock and Tom O'Gorman, they finished third today to fifth for
Jonathan.
I think there'll still be one. I think there'll still be 1 point ahead of Blackstock and O'Gorman for third place. But Wilkins and Lewis will extend their lead from 5 points to a little bit more than that. I haven't figured that one out. But the really interesting one is the Manufacturers' Championship there. It came into this weekend. Honda 1 point ahead of Audi, 1 point ahead of Hyundai. They will leave here, go to the final round with Audi now in the lead of the championship on 293, with both Honda and Hyundai tied on 289. And both those manufacturers have 3 wins and 2 second place points as well, so that absolutely completely tied for second place.
Shea Adam was down in the pits. Jeremy Shaw alongside me, John Hindhaugh. Once again, the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. 2 hours, but packed about 8 hours worth of action into it. It's like we distill it down every week and make a brilliant reduction. It's endurance racing in miniature, all the tactics played out at the end, and well done to Windward Racing. Dominic Baumann anchoring that 33 Mercedes home for their first victory for the 33 squad and for Windward Racing. And Mercedes go ahead in the Manufacturers' Championship by 3 points over Audi as we head to the final round, the 10th round at Road Atlanta at Motul Petit Le Mans. Congrats to all of our winners today. There are stories still to be told in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge in 2019. Rest assured, you'll see and hear all about them on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. I'm John Hindhaugh. Bye for now.